The Dave Glover Show is sponsored by the Michaels Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. IGotFloored.com.
Good afternoon, St. Louis. DGS 1041 FM KMOX. Happy Tuesday. So sports director Tom Ackerman agreed to stay after school a little bit today and hang out with the DGS. Thank you, Tommy. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. How are you?
So big announcement. The St. Louis Cardinals and our company have reached a multi-year deal to keep the Cardinals right where they should be.
It has happened, and we will be the home of the Cardinals for the foreseeable future. It is a multi-year extension, and, while it sounds natural that the Cardinals and KMOX should always be together, it takes work. It takes work on both sides to make it work, to come up with a marketing plan, to look into the future of radio and of media and of the partnership and decide what's best for all parties. And obviously, one of the big moves we've made recently is going to FM. And yes, that does play a factor. 1041 FM has a bigger reach in the market. But I think overall, that is a branding, partnership that is hard to pull apart. I mean, the Cardinals and KMOX have been together for most of this last century. There have been some periods of time where they have gone apart, and then they've always come back. And I would say it's as strong as ever. I mean, we just have a great partnership from a business standpoint, but also a lot of friends, a lot of people know each other well, and we work well together. And there's a comfort level there between the two parties, the Cardinals from the very top all the way through their staff. I mean, there are just so many people that work for that organization that we do business with, and we appreciate them very much. And then there's, of course, the biggest factor of all is the fan base. The fan base has made this happen. I mean, it is our listenership, the passion for the team, the fact that they listen to us and follow the team, even in rough times. I mean, I know that we've seen the empty seats, but Kevin can vouch for this. The passion is real. I mean, it's as interactive. Maybe social media has fueled this, but I don't ever remember it being this ferocious when it comes to, they don't do something well, the fans are all over it, and they can't get enough information. And so for us to be that information source for them and to give them access to the manager and the president of baseball operations and everybody else is very meaningful. And we love being that vehicle. So it's the play-by-play, which is outstanding, from John and Ricky and Claves and Jim Jackson and Ryan Schulte and all the things they do in the booth. But it is everything about the two organizations that I think just work well together.
You mentioned 1041, and there's no doubt that 1041 FM is a superior sounding signal in town. But people have accused us of burying the AM, which is just not true. It's like our boss, Steve Moore, said the other day, well, the AM had a 100-year start on us.
Yeah, it's there.
But it's never more important than with Cardinal baseball, because KMOX made Cardinal baseball made KMOX in the multi-state region that it serves.
The Cardinals have always been great to us in that they tell that story all the time, and they give us credit for growing the fan base west and south and in all parts of the United States because of our big booming signal, and that is 1120. And you have to continue to pay tribute to that. I have some buddies who still listen to us on 1120. They can't get off of it. They like the classic sound of AM. Nice. That's totally fine. But you know what? If you ask them, and I say, you don't listen to us on AM exclusively, they're like, no, I listen on my, Alexa or my Google or on this device, that device. And yeah, I have listened on FM. And then they start realizing they like that option. They like the fact that we're on the FM dial too. So it's really helped us. I think it's introduced the Cardinals to a new group of fans that might not have otherwise discovered them. And I know that sounds silly, but it's the St. Louis Cardinals. Like, everybody knows who the Cardinals are. Not everybody listens to an entire game or an entire show or even an inning. Whereas now with FM, we have given them that option on the FM dial in clarity, indoors, wherever they may be. You don't drive under a bridge now and the signal goes out. I mean, it's the real deal.
So we now have 2 shows dedicated to the Cardinals, daytime shows with Gas House and Rush Hour. And you guys just had a barn burner of a segment with Ali. Kev, you want to jump in on that?
Well, it was, first of all, Ollie's great every week. I mean, whether you agree with like a strategy move or a lineup decision or anything, his explanations are great. He loves doing it. I love how he interacts with the people throwing in the comments on the stream. I think it's just awesome. But obviously today I thought it was really good. It may be even more good because it's juicier stuff, not because of any decisions, just because of baseball circumstance, right? And I thought it was really interesting today and we'll do this. We do this every Tuesday on Rush Hour. Matt Pauley and I pick out 2 or 3 of kind of the key comments from Ali, and we'll play them, discuss them, take questions and comments on them and all that. And it's really a lot today because the hot button issues are the lineup, which there's not much you can do when a lot of people aren't hitting. There's no bench that you're like, just throw these new guys in there. It's not like it was earlier in the year where you had 2 or 3 guys on the bench where you're like, hey, we'd like to see more Nolan Gorman or whatever. It's not like that now with injuries and things like that. But the big hot button things are the pitching things. And I thought we got great answers. I don't know that they're going to satisfy anybody, but that's sports. I don't understand, just personally, I don't understand the hesitation on keeping Fedde and Michaelis in the rotation. I don't understand what can get worse if you do something different. And you guys did a great job of presenting it. Ali, I think, answered it all. And maybe not in a way where you're like, okay, that's the right way to handle it, but also understanding it better. Like, it's clear this is not all a manager's decision. What's right? Great about this is a front office and a manager having to figure this stuff out.
I disagreed with Ali about Sonny Gray. When he said wanted to keep him on schedule, that's really important. And I'm of the mind it's not as important as beating the Cubs. But I'm the afternoon guy for KMOX, and he's the manager of the Cardinals. Right. So I will defer to him, but I can't say how much I appreciate it enough that he gives you a straight answer.
Yeah, and Bernie and Matt and I talked about this last night, and then Bernie brought it up again today too, Tom, that it's very clear that if doing that wasn't, at least in my reading, this is my reading of this, that if that was something that he could have done, I think the manager would have done it. I think they're really being careful with Sonny because they have some things that they want to make sure don't break down. You could see he had the late start to the spring because they, some wear and tear type stuff. His velo was down in the spring. He wasn't very good. In April, the velo was down and it wasn't good, but it's gotten back to normal. But they're very clearly trying to give him extra at all times to try to keep him healthy. So while I understand and actually had the same question on our text group, Matt and Paulie and our boss Steve Moore were on like a little Cardinals text string together. And I even asked that. I'm like, wow, so Sonny can pitch twice in the final week, but you can't line him up to face the Cubs in either of those series. And I get it because you're coming up on the All-Star break, but that in and of itself is almost a concern that you're worried enough about managing him physically, nothing else, just physically, that you wouldn't make sure that he faces the Cubs at least once. I think that's an interesting conversation because I think if in my reading of Ollie's answers, if he thought it was good for Sonny, that's what they would have done. But as he pointed out, and I think that's another interesting thing, as Ollie pointed out today, there are a lot of voices involved in these decisions. The player has a voice, like how does he feel? And if a player is telling me I'm not right, or I need a day, or whatever, I got to listen to that because he's not going to be right if I push it.
Can I ask a question to both of you?
Yeah.
Apropos of that, because I don't know the answer to it, and you guys do. When Ali alludes to, I'm not the only decision maker here, the front office has to say so as well. Is that letting something out of the bag, or is that every organization in the MLB?
It's every organization. The president of baseball operations, the general manager, sets the roster, and the manager manages the roster that he's given.
Right.
John Mozeliak is not telling Ollie Marmol who to play and when, but he is giving him. He is in charge.
Here's your 26.
This is the group. This is what I'm giving you.
Yeah.
I want that guy. Nope. This is your group right here.
Yeah,
and that's his. Now Ollie can have input. But the decision maker there is John Mozeliak. I really like Ollie's honesty as well. Remember, and I've said this for years, we just don't know everything that's going on in that clubhouse. Even if we even the people closest to the team don't know really what's going on. So when he talks about Sonny Gray like that, I start to think, I worry about the whole rotation because Liberatore hasn't pitched all full load like this.
It's going to be interesting.
Palante hasn't. Gray, as you mentioned, got off to that slow start or that late start. And of course, we're all concerned about Fedde and Michaelis. If the rotation goes down, the whole ship goes down. It has to be healthy. It has to be. And
I'll make one counter argument. It doesn't matter if you're healthy if you stink.
No, I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. McGreevy is the only answer here. McGreevy has to replace Fedde. Okay, I'll just skip right to it. And if for me, I'd replace Michaelis also. I'd have Matz either opening or start to stretch him out to be a starter.
Sure.
There are no other options.
Right.
Those are the two guys. So I would give Fedde and Michaelis a rest and let them figure it out. And what that looks like, I don't know if you're DFAing somebody or if you're just sitting them or getting them out of there. But if you want to win games, I think you got to have McGreevy and Matt starting the games and not Fedde and Michaelis. But it is what it is. They're going to start Michaelis on Thursday and try to see if he can get back to, because he was fixable there for a little while, and now it's gone off the rails. Fedde, to me, does not look right at all. I don't like the body language. He got yanked in the second inning.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for Miles Michaelis. Actually, it's the only good thing he did on Friday was go 6 innings so that you could have a bullpen available. As it turns out, the Cardinals got blown up anyway and had no offense. The Cardinals rotation has to perform or it's over. And we just saw a glimpse of that over the weekend.
Yep.
What does it mean? Ali talked about, and you guys were just talking about before we went on air about having an opener. What does that mean?
So it's a simple, it's a strategy. So you'll use a relief pitcher first to start the game, and then your quote unquote bulk innings guy, which is typically just a starter. But what teams do, so Detroit does this a lot, LA, the Dodgers do this a lot, Tampa Bay does this a lot, and they don't do it because they want to. They do it because they're concerned about a rotation spot. Either it's a pitcher that's not performing well, or it's a young guy they don't think is really ready to be a full-time starter, but they need the innings. So you'll take a reliever and he'll get the first 3 to 5 outs, 3 to 6 outs, because that guy, let's say it's Steven Matz, which, by the way, in the show today, Ali acknowledged that the plan for Sunday before Palante was going to be Matz as an opener until they needed him to win Saturday. So again, perfectly, that's a great explanation, makes total sense. And I'm happy to see that they were thinking about that, because what you took there, just using the Cubs game as an example, 3 of their first 4 hitters are left-handed. Steven Matz is left-handed. That puts those 3 guys that we're talking about at a disadvantage the first time through the order. And then when Palante, or in this case, Fedde, would have come in, he would have come in after their most dangerous guys have already hit, face the bottom of the order, and then ideally you only have to get him through the order twice to get to the 6th inning, and you would ideally not get off to the big slow start. Now, it doesn't always work, but it's a way of avoiding the best hitters on the other team for a starter that's been shaky. And because the thing you want out of a starter is at least 5, but ideally 6 innings. To do that, you have to face the top of the order 3 times. And both Fedde and Michaelis, 3rd time through the order, have gotten destroyed. So I think Michaelis is a 9 ERA 3rd time through the order, and Fedde's a 6. Oof. So again, the idea here is you don't face the best guys on the other team as often. And somebody who's like a Swanson who's throwing 97 or a Matz against left-handers comes in, and you get off to the cleaner start. And then the starter essentially starts the race with a head start against the bottom part of the order instead of facing the best guys first time up. And it doesn't always work, but a lot of good, smart, creative teams do it all the time when they have rotation spots that are a question mark.
I had the listener, I can't remember where I saw this, mention, why don't you have Fedde open for Michaelis or Michaelis open for Fedde? And then, so you're not killing yourself in 2 games. It's just one game. God. And then one guy's better than the other. Kind of funny. They're not going to do that.
In a perfect world, you do it with differing styles, right? Like lefty to righty, or like velo, like Swanson into a guy that doesn't throw as hard. And maybe that's how you stretch out Matz. Matz opens for Fedde. He goes as far as he can, and then Fedde fills in. I mean, there's some ways to do that.
There are ways, but yeah, they've got to get it going here quickly. Hopefully it starts tonight, and it's Sonny Gray. Why wouldn't it? I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, Tommy.
Thanks, buddy.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit lance.law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about i3 Broadband. You've heard me talk about them. They provide the internet in my home. I love them so much. The reliability is great. Let's talk about price for a moment, though. They've got an introductory rate at $19.99 a month for one of their service options. No bundle ever required. You're going to save $10 a month over the cable company. They've got great pricing on all of their different packages, going up to 8 gigs upload and download speed, always mirrored. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Put your address in at i3broadband.com.
Tell you guys about my friend Mike at Michael's Baths. If you have even had a discussion with your spouse, partner, about doing a new bathroom, you need to check out Michael's Baths. I don't know exactly how much they are. I don't know exactly how much Bath Fitter charges or 3-day kitchen and bath, but let's say they're charging $12. You can get it 30 to 50% off. So somewhere between 6 and 8 instead of 12. That's real money. That's really, really good. And you're not going to give up any quality on the workmanship. You're not going to give up any quality on the products themselves. Mike's resume is this. Mike has been doing nothing but bathroom remodeling for the past 30 years. Doesn't do kitchens, doesn't knock out walls, give you a new bathtub, give you a new shower, give you new safety features, to beautify the whole thing, whatever it is you want to do at a deep, deep discount. He is family owned and operated. He supports about 20 other local families, all craftsmen in their own right, who he has sought out and hired and trained. So if you are interested in a new bathroom, you can't do better than Michael's Baths. 636-775-0800 or just log on to michaelsbaths.com.
1041 FM KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Stronger than ever.
Welcome back, guys. GGS on KMOX 124. Congratulations to my very good friend Mike Bush over at KSDK. Today is his 40th anniversary on KSDK.
Wow. So cool. What a great guy.
He is the best. Just an awesome guy.
And such a pro. Yes. I mean, I watch the 5 o'clock news 6 o'clock news like pretty much every night.
Yeah.
Just always on it.
Flawless.
I got to interview him for my show. I know you've interviewed him many times. This is someone who puts his heart and soul into what he does.
When Mike interviewed me about No One Dies Alone, and he didn't realize that my mom had used No One Dies Alone.
Yeah.
He didn't know that connection. He thought that I was just like, oh, you're a radio show host and you're giving some publicity to a worthy cause. He was crying in the interview. So he's not only a great professional, he's just a soft-hearted dude.
Yeah.
Good man. Ortman Woodcraft. What's up, DJs from Patton, Missouri? What's up, Patton?
What's up?
Dana McHugh says, love your show and all your peeps. It's my daily laugh therapy. Thank you, Dana.
That's nice, Dina. Thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
Can we like co-op that in big business cards? We are laugh therapists.
Yeah, I like it.
And then what would the postscript on that be?
Ortman would
Like it wouldn't be like
just that name.
Maybe Esquire? No, this doesn't work.
Oh, I didn't know what you're going for there.
No, like I mean Dr. PhD. Like
Yes.
it's not that, but it should be something.
LT.
There you go.
BS.
DGS. DGS. Laugh therapist DGS.
You start to say something?
I was just going to say hi, Jake, because he starts off the stream every day.
day.
Jake's the
hi.
first every day.
Every day.
What's up, Jake?
Yep.
Bet he gets all the concert tickets and stuff first too. He's first already in line.
Somebody beat him to it one time, and he seemed a little upset.
I don't blame him. He had a streak going. You gotta
That's
protect the
funny.
streak, man.
What do we got going on today? We have we're gonna have a lot of Cardinals for you. To be quite honest, we have Bernie making an appearance at 2 p.m., which he doesn't have to do. And when I say doesn't have to, he's not an indentured servant, but his hit with us Mondays and Fridays is sponsored. And so it's not incumbent upon him to be on any other time. But I thought that the Gas House Gang was so good and so revelatory that we reached out to him. And being Bernie, he said, of course, he will be on. Ricky Horton's going to be on at 2:30. We have the Think Tank coming up later at 4 p.m. with Jeff Rainford and Kurt Barr. So really big, really full show. And we have some weather moving in later this afternoon, so we'll be keeping our eye on that.
So we're blowing out everything else and doing storm mode.
All that stuff you just
But
heard.
Dave Murray's not with us today.
Oh, no.
I know. So now we have to do it ourselves.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm a weather
man.
spotter, so
Imagine that.
That's right.
Should
And
I
it's
do
very important to me because my very first old man baseball game is tonight.
Oh.
Yes.
That's
Exciting stuff.
You're going to have fun.
I only know this. I only predict one thing. I'm going to look good.
Yeah.
I'm going to look good.
What time do you say that game starts?
7:15.
Well,
Yeah.
I see little lightning bolts
I look good and wet.
at
Well,
7 and 8.
I would ask if there's a chance it's inside, but Kevin would yell at me again.
Yes.
I wouldn't yell. I would laugh.
That's so much better
Yeah, I know. So much nicer to
to laugh right in your face. Let me tell you guys about my friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalance Health. Just made an appointment. It's the 25th, in case you want to know. In fact, that's a Dr. Maupin week for me. On the 22nd, I go in. Nope, I'm lying to you. I don't go in until August for my pellets. But I go in on the 25th to get some face stuff done. And I'm not in any way sheepish or ashamed about that at all. I'm 60, and it would be nice to look 50. You know, I'm under no illusions that I'm going to look 35 or 38. So I'm not going to jack up my face doing something like that. But you can get Botox, you can get chemical peels, you can get filler, all kinds of things. And they really do make a difference. I feel like I look a little younger than my 60 years. And a lot of that is Dr. Kathy Maupin. On the pellet side, I mean, look, you could do this live instead of me. If you're not feeling great, if you're not feeling great in the bedroom, if it's coming between you and your partner, reach out to Dr. Maupin and see what she can do at biobalancehealth.com.
Wake up informed. Wake up empowered. Wake up to Total Information AM, your morning must.
Hi, this is Debbie Monterey. I'm Megan Lynch.
This is Tom Ackerman. From local news to breaking headlines to weather, traffic, and the stories that matter most, we've got you covered before your first sip of coffee. Expert analysis, bright perspectives from the people you trust. Total Information AM, your day starts here. Mornings beginning at 5 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest, We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
We take you now to Dave Murray's forecast.
It's an afternoon to keep an eye on the sky. We're going to see some scattered thunderstorms around, partly sunny skies. Some of these storms could go strong to severe. They're not for everybody. They are scattered, but we have to watch. Prime time is during the afternoon up until about 8 o'clock this evening. 92 for the high. Tonight, clouds, a couple of thunderstorms here and there during the evening, 73. Wednesday, partly sunny. Thunderstorm here and there near 90. Quiet Wednesday night. Thursday, mostly sunny, maybe a spot storm, but pretty tough to find, 92. Check out that full moon Thursday night. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Brought to you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. Hi, Margaret at Eamon Gantner and Capriano. I was suddenly widowed at 41. We had a will. Do you? Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. Choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on average.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey, and between now and the end of the summer, chances are that you or someone you know is in the market to buy or sell a home. And like me, you probably know a few realtors. Well, yeah, I know several as well, but when someone I know needs to sell their home, I always recommend Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I've been telling you about Gloria for years now, and here's why you should call, because no matter what the market does, Gloria Liu will guarantee upfront and in writing to sell your home at 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference.
St. Louis home sellers, if you're looking for certainty and the most money guaranteed for the sale of your home, call me, Gloria Liu. My name is My Promise, Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Call me directly at 314-325-6888 or visit me online at GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Every year, almost 30,000 babies in America are born with birth injuries. It's every parent's worst nightmare. If your child suffered a birth injury, please call our firm to find out if we can help.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius, or two half geniuses, and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Today, the Cards, the Nationals. Ameren Total Access 550. Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Welcome back, guys. DGS 104.1 FM KMOX. Dave and Rach and Kevin and Andrew here with you as we are every day from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Saw something today that was very sad and very jarring. And it really affected me. I know I probably seem like I have the world by the tail, but I don't. I have problems. I have issues. 99% of them caused by me. I have lots of anxiety and I'm always stressing about something. And I was driving to work today and I witnessed something I don't think I've ever seen before. Clearly, a family was being put out of their house. And the sheriff was there and the police were there and there were people there that looked to be changing locks. And the gentleman who lived there, I'm assuming, was just sitting out in his front yard surrounded by his stuff. And I was just like, you wuss. That's a problem. That's what a problem looks like. And I know we all got our own and they all seem big, but that's a real problem. Just really got me.
Yeah.
Hurt my heart.
I get what you mean about that. I mean, because just state of us being what we are, you don't experience other people's experience.
No.
Right? You haven't been in that seat. That's not your feeling. You're going to be impacted by what's happening to you. Then you see something, somebody gets really sick, somebody passes away tragically. Like just today, I think I saw a picture of the family of the two women that were killed after the Drake concert because the person driving was convicted today, or I guess pled guilty, it wrapped up today. The trial wrapped up today. And then you see that and you're like, well, my thing's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Totally. I think we all, I don't know how often that happens, but it's almost often enough, like every few weeks, every month or two, you get a little reminder. It ain't that bad. Yeah,
for sure. So Andrew and Rach, you guys want to go off on Prime Day? I made a purchase for my first time ever.
I'm about to.
I wear this cover up. It's sunscreen. It really is. It's called Color Science. I've referred it to you guys before. And it has different shades. And I made a mistake and bought the darkest shade. So I'm going to have to deal with that.
All right.
So I will deal with it. I'm not going to get into cultural appropriation or anything, but it's pretty dark. But I made a Prime purchase.
Nice.
I mean, that's fine. I'm happy for everybody getting what they want out of Amazon Prime Day. I just personally find it to be a huge joke because it's like all the news outlets are like, Prime Day's coming up.
Yeah.
What are you going to do for Prime Day? And I'm like, it's confusing that you're advertising this sale for Amazon, but okay. And then this morning, I'm like, all right, I'll take a look. I'll see what's on sale. Everything's like maybe 13% off, which is fine, but it's sold to you as like unbelievable savings. This will blow your mind. Not really. And I don't need anything. And what I'm not going to do is buy something just because it's Prime Day. But that's kind of the way they have it set up. Like, you are missing out if you're not taking advantage of these incredible sales. Like, I'm actually good. I'm going to chill over
Why are you talking like
here.
me?
Because you're on Amazon right now shopping Prime Day sale.
We almost had to have an intervention with Kev because he is shopping for more workout supplies.
Yes, I need a new gym.
And you need an intervention. You need less workout.
Oh, no.
Yes.
That's not happening.
You're not going to fit in the room, dude.
I don't care.
You don't need
door.
a new gym. You need some like downers and a big fluffy pillow.
Downers.
And you just need to crash for a few days.
See the kind of price I got on Quaaludes.
Yeah, 45% off for Prime
those
Day.
pills you give your dog when you're going to travel? Let's just start slipping
Yeah,
that in his
you
protein.
need gabapentin.
That's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. You need downers.
You need the stuff they give dogs so that the fireworks don't freak them out.
Maybe I need a what do you call them? One of those thunder jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would it
You
fit?
get scared during the storms.
Yeah, they don't make one big enough. It'd weigh 4,900 pounds. Yeah, I remember back when I was using my Thunder blankets, and then I developed claustrophobia. I went from high anxiety to claustrophobia. I'm like, I can't get out from under this
You
thing.
were trapped under a heavy heat
Yes.
at all times.
It was
and
like
you're
the answer to my prayers. I had a 18-pounder, something like that. No bragging. And then one night I'm like, I can't move real easily.
You're like, I feel like I'm in hell.
So you're the Amazon as well?
Yeah. So my biggest problem with it is that it mostly just doesn't exist. Now, other retailers do this as well. I know Target's gotten caught doing it, but Amazon was kind of the first to revolutionize the concept, which is having their normal price be like, this is a $40 item and it's 15% off. And then going like, hey, Prime Day deal, it's 15% off. And it's like, you have this 15% off at all times.
Yeah.
There's nothing special about this. You're just trying to essentially impulse force me to trick, I should say. Then it was force.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
but
force is a bit
impulse tricked me into buying this right now today, because you're implying that this is a special today only price. Where if I come here next week and look at it, not on quote unquote Prime Day sale, it's going to be the exact same price.
Okay.
That's not to say there aren't any deals. There are deals, but then they also just slap that kind of label on things that are not really any kind of significant price decrease for what they would normally sell it for.
Okay, fair enough. Kev, you know how you told us about the story where the orcas were putting salmon on their heads?
And then they were attacking boats, and then they found what was the other thing they were doing? They were cleaning each other.
Yes, but there seems to be some sort of fashion with animals where they do things like that, and the most recent are chimpanzees.
Oh,
and guess what they're doing?
They're wearing bananas on their head.
Close. They're sticking grass in their butts.
Same thing.
In the butt?
In the cheeks.
I see.
I don't know how far it goes, but
they're just they're walking around like they got a
walking
tail.
around like they have a grass tail.
I bet that feels so good.
That's funny.
We can make that happen
Do
for
they?
you.
Do they think they're doing it just like as a fad, like
Yeah,
you talked about
they're
with the
just
salmon?
walking around with it. They're not using it for tools. They're not chewing on it. I mean, someone might chew on it.
They're
But
like, oh, this old thing.
oh, that's nothing.
I got it from the field over there.
I was just sitting there, and I stood up, and there it was.
There it was. Old Clem. He's always a trendsetter.
Was it because I was wondering? The reason I was asking was the difference between it like being a style thing versus I don't know, they're just cleaning themselves.
Right.
But
I know you like to talk about monkeys wiping their butts.
Wow, I mean,
but I can't help you
know,
out there.
It's just I'm always every time we learn new things about different animal species, I just get more blown away.
Yeah.
Like when we learned that elephants actually have names for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like they make each elephant's got its own sound, and when they make that sound, that elephant comes over. It's like what? That's cool.
I just saw a video where in a country where elephants roam free, and a guy dropped a big stick, and the elephant picked it up and hit him with it.
What?
Yeah.
Like beating him up?
Yeah, like bam, just hit him in the back of the legs and then just kept walking.
No. Like, was it a prank?
No.
Okay, just didn't like him?
He was just walking down the street, and the guy dropped this, like a white stick about the size of a yardstick, and the elephant, without missing a beat, picks up with his trunk, hits him in the back of the legs, drops it, keeps walking.
That sounds like a scene from Dumb and Dumber.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The elephant's probably just like, get out of here. We don't want you here.
Stop
No,
it.
every time you guys show up, our lives get worse. Please leave.
There's, I think it was a reserve, and I don't remember where, but this guy that had raised these elephants when they were little, like was gone. He had moved and came back after, I don't know how many years, but years, and just went out to the field and just started making noises, and all of them come running. And they're like, our guy! Like, that's crazy cool.
Saw a TikTok of a lady in Switzerland, I believe, who lives in the country, and she plays her saxophone, and all the cows come. Yeah. Running. I should put another word after that.
Come running. They come like, all right, let's go. Concert time.
It congregates them.
Or do they think it's a cow?
Yeah, that's possible. Like the most mellifluous cow of all time, just humming and singing. They're like, hey,
this cow is cool.
Look at Randy.
Oh, my God.
That's neat. Animals are cool. The chimps also stick grass into their ears.
Do they?
Yes.
For funsies?
Ears and rears.
Ears and rears.
Sounds like a good band name.
Andrew, you need a ruling on dinner?
Yeah, okay. So I went to a dinner place the other day.
A dinner place.
Also known as a restaurant.
Well, I don't want to identify the place.
You're not an alien.
For reasons that will become obvious. I went in there. I had kind of a not great experience. It was a counter service-y type of place. I went in there. It was not a very good experience. I ordered some food for myself. They were like very mad that I was there. Very unpleasant, very rude, very like, I would ask like, oh, by the way, can I also like have, whatever? And they would just kind of stare at you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, I don't know if this is is this a positive confirmation or not? And then I was going to meet a buddy of mine, and he was like, hey, pick me up something too. I'm like, all right, sounds good. So I go up and I order another sandwich.
That must have really pissed him off.
They were not thrilled about it. So I went up there and ordered another thing. And
He's already given us too much with the
Yeah,
sandwich.
I'm
They
figuring
were-
it
We
out.
know it's dinner. We know it's sandwiches.
They were not thrilled that you were
it's a walk-up
giving
place.
them money for the purpose that they set up their business.
they seem pretty upset. I mean, it was definitely not their business. You know what I'm saying?
I get you.
And so, long story short, I am pretty certain that I was not charged for item number 2. It was brought up on the screen. I did the tap to pay, and it didn't. I don't think they hit the extra button that has to make it go through on their end. Eventually, of me looking at the screen and nothing happening, eventually it just kind of went away.
Okay.
And I looked at my bank later, and I wasn't charged for it.
Okay.
Now, I didn't say anything. If they were nicer, I probably would have been like, hey, I don't actually think I was charged for the second item that you're making me here. Maybe we should, can you just run it back and I can pay for it? But because they were extremely not nice the entire time up to and including when I walked out, I didn't say anything. And I was like, you know what? Maybe this one's on you because I didn't do anything wrong. I tried to pay.
So it's not exactly George Washington honesty, but I mean,
It's not. But my ruling is, am I a very bad person
Not
for
very.
essentially stealing this? I mean, I got a sandwich and I did my part. I tried to do the tap to pay. They didn't hit the extra button on their side because they, effed off to go be rude somewhere else.
Yeah.
But
Did they not give you a receipt?
they didn't give me a receipt. They just made the food and gave it to me.
I mean, that does seem like a them prop. Like that. That's as an employee, that's your responsibility to make sure that the payment was
Yes.
taken and like
Yeah.
give the customer their
Consequences.
receipt and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have said something. I'm not judging you too hard for
That was kind of the
leaving
big
it
question.
alone.
Well,
I
when you
couldn't
walked
decide
out,
if I should
you
feel
didn't
bad
know.
or not.
When you walked out, you weren't sure.
When I walked out, I was not sure, but I suspected that I was not charged for it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm pretty sure if in 20 minutes when I get to my destination, if I look at my bank account, I will not have been charged.
That
for it.
happened to me right here at work at Emart when I was buying 3 things when I was
Mhm.
getting snacks for you guys, and it would not charge me for the 3rd thing, and I just kept doing it. I just kept doing it, but I put it back. But I was tempted to
Yeah.
be like, I have tried
Yeah.
several times to pay you, and you won't take my money. That's amazing to me. How many businesses make it difficult to pay? Take my money.
This one seemed like an easy one because it's like all they had to do is just ring it up and hit the extra button, but
Yeah.
they couldn't bear to look
I
at
think
me
your
for
ruling
the.
is you're fine.
Okay, they couldn't bear to look at me for the extra 10 seconds that it would have required them to hit the extra button.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it.
100% on time, 100% guaranteed, 100% wow. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath delivers all that, all in 3 days. Here's how it works. Create a kitchen idea, give them 3 days, and suddenly your kitchen becomes the centerpiece of your home. A place where everyone gathers no matter how much room you have in the house. Every project is 100% on time, 100% guaranteed, and 100% wow. Invest in your family and your home. Invest in a kitchen with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. 3-Day Kitchen offers a 100% satisfaction guarantee and will complete the job to your liking, guaranteed. They're in and out of your home in 3 days or less with top quality products and a great crew. And they're finished on time with no delays. Get details now. Start at 3daykitchenandbath.com. That's the number 3, then daykitchen.com. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
It doesn't take a lot to make a big difference.
That's why we've teamed up with Jerry Kelly Heating and Cooling to bring you 100 acts of kindness.
For the next 6 months, the Chris and Amy Show is challenging you to spread kindness in simple, meaningful ways. No big budget needed.
Write a thank you note, help a neighbor, surprise someone with a smile. It all counts.
Let's prove that kindness is contagious. Share your acts with us by using hashtag 100KindActs.
Because a little kindness goes a long way.
Hey, it's Jeff at Sachs Financial. Over the last 15 years, we've been able to help our clients focus on the fundamentals and tune out the daily grind by putting a great retirement plan in place. If you don't have one, find out how to get started at retiresafestl.com.
At California Psychics, we know that sometimes you can wake up thinking,
I don't know if I'm in the right career, or the right relationship.
but whatever your life dilemma, At California Psychics, we'll give you the guidance you need to feel certain about your life choices. And because we only connect you with the very best, we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Tom Ackerman for Busey Bank and Building Community. We are proud to recognize Doorways as a building community partner. Doorways helps those who are invisible and ignored by society, people navigating poverty, homelessness, and serious illnesses like HIV. While HIV has become treatable, the number of cases continues to rise in the disenfranchised community. Building community means nobody should be invisible. Learn more about Doorways at doorwayshousing.org.
This is Pat Buring, Executive Vice President of Busey Bank. I'm so proud to recognize Doorways, the only agency in the region dedicated to providing housing to individuals living with HIV and their family members. Doorways sees to it that clients receive on-site services to manage their lives, opening doorways to independence and opportunity. That's what building community is all about. Join Busey. Get involved as we continue building the communities we call home.
Welcome back, DGS. Have some sketchy weather moving in the next few hours. We'll keep you apprised of that. If we need to, we'll go into storm mode. You know what I was thinking about this morning? I was reminded of, which was really big in my sky for field day, tug of war.
Yeah.
Remember tug of war?
Yeah.
You either loved it or hated it.
Yeah.
Like it was such a separator of people.
Yeah. And even if you loved it, it's hard.
Oh, yeah.
Tiring. Your hands get all shredded.
Yes.
Yeah. It's worth it, though.
It's so much fun.
Especially when you win. You can hold that over your dumb friends.
One time we played tug of war, boys versus girls, and the girls won.
Oh, ouch.
You guys
It
were
was
spiking the
exciting.
football, weren't you?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Who do you think? Okay, if we had a tug of war on the show,
Kevin.
2-on-2. Just 'cause tug of
Yeah,
war.
2-on-2.
So you gotta-
Whatever team
3-on-1.
Kevin's on.
You got to split me and Andrew up. You put us on both on one side. You guys are moving it.
Who would win between shows?
Well, we have like the biggest
We
show.
have 4 shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Four
have
people.
we have 4 people and Kevin, and I'm not really that much of an asset. I know you'd think I would be an anchor, but I have terrible balance. So I mean, a good yank and I'm going down. It's my fulcrum point is
Good
way
yanking
down
and
here.
I'm going down.
So one good tug, I'm losing the war.
You can
Let's
be
put
the
it
guy
like
in the
that.
back that you tie the rope around and you just lay on your back. That's a thing.
You kind of
I'm
lean
good at
back.
that.
Yeah, you lean back and
Yeah, you just lean back and
I
dare
can
him
do
to move you.
I can do that.
What about a 3-legged race?
Oh, just give me the award right
yeah,
now.
I'm out.
Who you picking for your partner?
Probably you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'd be a good team.
Yeah.
We've
We
got-
read each other's minds.
Yeah, and
it's
we're
a little creepy.
And it's like similar heights too,
Yeah.
so we're not gonna that's
Yeah.
not gonna be a huge detriment.
I think Kevin and I would do pretty well.
Yeah.
All right, well, seems like we got a race going,
Yeah.
folks.
We're 2 ropes away from finding out.
Kevin and I have the momentum going.
Yeah, but if you fall,
Yeah.
you're telling me if I lose my balance, well, I'm going down too.
That's true.
We should do this. We really should.
Yeah, I think this sounds like fun.
We should go out to the field. And some other radio should be like, get this about downtown. I just saw people having a 3-legged race.
And these 2 big guys fell.
They fell in some kind of poop of indeterminate
I
origin.
was just gonna say we would just have to watch out for the poo because people
Yeah.
walk their dogs out there and they
Well,
don't clean it up.
I wouldn't
Dog
choose.
poo's not the only kind of poo out
Well,
there.
That's what I'm saying. Indeterminate origin. I wouldn't choose anywhere in our immediate vicinity to do this at for sure.
Upgrade your family vacation with an unforgettable escape to the Palm Beaches. From outdoor adventures and laid-back beaches to thrilling family attractions and animal encounters, the Palm Beaches have something for everyone. Discover premier resorts with creative kids clubs that will keep the little ones entertained while you enjoy world-class golf and spas. We are the original, the one, the only, the Palm Beaches. Plan your trip at thepalmbeaches.com.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler for Supplement Superstores, but more specifically 213 Complex. So, the guys, I know playfully, but give me a little hard time about the whole lifting thing and getting too big. Well, one thing I need to do to go along with that is I need to get trimmed down a bit, and that's where 213 Complex is coming in for me. I'm in the beginning of that phase of kind of leaning that part out while also trying to lift and do all that stuff. But man, 213 Complex is just the best. First of all, it's the most effective thing out there in the marketplace. That's what Supplement Superstores always features. They have the best products. There are all kinds of things to know about 213 Complex. Here's what I've experienced. One, you're getting the metabolism kicked in, and you can feel it. Right, you're burning fat, you're burning those calories all day long. You're actually doing it when you're sleeping too, in part because it helps lower cortisol levels, which is good because that's also, cortisol can be a stress trigger or triggered by stress, so it can kind of help you in that regard too. The biggest thing I notice on a day-to-day basis though is the appetite control. I don't give in to the cravings. If I'm eating something, it's because I planned on eating it or I set it up to eat it. It's not because, oh, I saw that and I want it. You're able to have that appetite control you need. Plus, you get all-day focused energy. Does not come with the jitters that you can get from energy drinks. So really, there's just nothing better out there. And the best thing you can do, my best advice is always go into Supplement Superstores. Everybody there's an expert. They all know their stuff. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you, and they'll knock 30% off the 213 Complex. Available at Supplement Superstores, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
I tell you guys about my good friend, Susan L. Ward, just together with Susan last week for breakfast. And it's kind of like Dr. Corey Solman. In addition to being a fantastic divorce attorney, she's a really cool person. And why does that matter? Why does it matter that I'm friends with her? Why does it matter that she's cool? Because communication and comfort is so important, whether it's your doctor or your lawyer. You want someone who you can talk to. You want someone who you can confide in. You want someone who you can be real with. Maybe you're the one in the marriage who kind of caused it to go bad, and you're sheepish about it and maybe even remorseful. You can talk to Susan. You can tell her anything you want to tell her. Everything is private. And of course, she's going to do whatever she can to get you the very best deal that she possibly can. By all means, talk to a priest, talk to a pastor, talk to a best friend, but talk to a very good divorce attorney before you do anything. If you call her at 314-783-9400 or reach out to her at stlfamilylaw.com, she will give you a free consultation. My advice, write down your top 5 or 10 questions. You can be very specific, and she will give you real answers, not just like, oh yeah, that's something we can do. She'll say, well, probably they're going to split it this way, or probably this, in this court, this judge is really a stickler about XYZ. Once again, that's stlfamilylaw.com.
Hey, St. Louis, this is Ben Barnett, board-certified master arborist and owner at Timberline Professional Tree Care. As a local small business owner for the past 24 years, I always do my best to shop local and support our community. Recently, 2 of the largest tree contractors in the region have sold to out-of-town investment groups. This means that the new owners of these companies are not invested in quality, customer satisfaction, or safety, except for how it affects their bottom line. Timberline Professional Tree Care was founded in 2001 and is focused solely on giving you, the customer, the safest, highest quality product while providing the best customer service before, during, and after the job. I've poured my heart and soul into tree care for the past 24 years, and we aren't going anywhere. When it comes time to take care of your trees, I ask that you shop local and call me, Ben Barnett, at Timberline Professional Tree Care, 636-479-7475, or online at stltreecare.com.
Views, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
At 2:01, it's a cloudy sky. Right now, 89 degrees downtown at the Arch. This just in, the man accused of shooting and killing a man in Farmington has been charged. Let's go live to the newsroom for the details from KMOX's Sean Malone.
Hey, Michael, 27-year-old Nathan Larson is charged with 2 counts, murder in the second degree and armed criminal action. According to a witness we spoke to, Larson shot and killed a man outside his apartment door on Sunday. The witness says Larson shot up at the victim from the parking lot below, who has since been identified as 24-year-old Dravon Rawson. Rawson was found dead in the breezeway between the apartments. Larson told the witness to call 911 for reports of a robbery. The person who drove Rawson to the complex told the witness that Rawson went to the wrong door. The probable cause statement is not yet available at this time. We expect it to include more details of the killing. Live in the newsroom, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The man accused of running over 2 women after a Drake concert last year pleads guilty.
This is Stuart McMillan. I was in the courtroom as Monty Henderson responded with the word guilty 4 times as the judge, Kalia Stoffel-Reed, read each of the 4 counts against him. 2 counts of first-degree involuntary manslaughter and 2 counts of armed criminal action. He was behind the wheel when 41-year-old Letty Barcio and 21-year-old Alyssa Cordova were walking across a marked crosswalk after the Drake concert last year and were killed. Henderson has only been in jail 1 day since that crash, but the judge revoked his bond, so he'll have to serve until sentencing on September 19th. The judge agreed with the state that he might be a flight risk.
Our top national story from CBS News. Recovery efforts continue in Central Texas, where the death toll from the flooding has reached 108. Among the missing are 5 girls and a counselor from Camp Mystic.
With the latest numbers, Kirk County Sheriff Larry Letha.
87 deceased have been recovered in Kirk County, including 56 adults and 30 children.
The remainder were killed in floods in neighboring counties. Letha refused to answer questions about the city and county's immediate response to the flooding.
Locating the people out there, identifying and notifying the next of kin. That is what I'm taking as my job as sheriff here to do.
For days, Kerrville Mayor Joe Herring has been asking people to pray.
Please pray for those who mourn, for those who wait, and for those who help.
Chris Fox for CBS News, Kerrville, Texas.
The Transportation Safety Administration is ending its requirement for airline passengers to remove their footwear at some airport security checkpoints. More from Chris Van Cleve.
Already, if you were a pre-check flyer, you weren't taking your shoes off. And at peak times when they would bring a dog through the line, people weren't taking their shoes off, even in general security. And there's been an argument for a while that the body scanner technology that people go through in general security is sufficient enough to detect threats. TSA is also developing additional scanners that are even better at sensing it.
The Redbirds are not going anywhere. KMOX and the Cardinals are signing a multi-year extension of our broadcast agreement. Odyssey St. Louis market manager Becky Damian says the Birds are part of KMOX's mission to provide the best St. Louis content.
The Cardinals and KMOX are really like on the same team. 2 St. Louis icons that are going to continue together in this next chapter. And I think it's especially exciting with KMOX now on FM on 104.1.
She says the Cardinals were especially excited about the station's addition of a full FM signal. The Dow from Stiefel down 140 points to 44,265. They've just cleared a crash on 44 West at 100 West at Washington, Missouri. We've got a traffic signal issue on 70 going westbound to Cave Springs, Truman. That's got the right shoulder closed. Also, if a traffic signal is out, treat it as a 4-way stop.
Kind of a typical summer's day across St. Louis, partly to mostly sunny skies. It's warm, it's humid, 92. But our best chance for some scattered thunderstorms is this afternoon. And we're looking at prime time, 2 to 8 p.m. A couple of them could go strong to severe. For the most part, they're not going to be, but they will be very efficient rainmakers, producing heavy downpours of rain and lightning. So let's keep an eye on the sky going through the afternoon and into the evening. 92 for the high today. Get under one of those thunderstorms, though. Temperatures will cool back into the upper 70s. Tonight, clouds, a couple of thunderstorms here and there during the evening, 73. Wednesday, partly sunny. A couple of thunderstorms here and there, 90. Thursday, mostly sunny. Nothing more than a spot thunderstorm. 92 Thursday. Thursday night, the full moon. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Right now, it's a cloudy sky. We've got 89 degrees downtown at the Arch. Live look at the radar. We've got some storms moving to the north at Old Jamestown toward Alton and Wood River. And also another cell that's out around Hawk Point to Troy. That's also moving to the northeast toward Moscow Mills, Ellsbury, and Winfield. Again, it's 89, just clouds downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Weather sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Cardinal Cowboy here. For over 65 years, Renner Garage Door has delivered top-notch service, sales, and installation. Get your free estimate today. RennerDoorSTL.com. Renner, forward and back.
RENNER. RENNER.
The Dave Glover Show is sponsored by the Michaels Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. IGotFloored.com.
Welcome back, guys. DGS 104.1 FM KMOX. So every Monday and Friday, Bernie Miklasz is with us, courtesy of Saliga Heating and Cooling. He's making a special appearance at my request today, and I appreciate it, Bern. Thank you very much. And let me do a solid for Saliga. I called them at your suggestion back during the winter, and the guy I dealt with was a Prince, and they walked me through what I needed to do, didn't charge me a dime. So Saliga's my place. I appreciate it.
No, man, I that endorsement or just your approval means the world, because I know how you are with people you talk about on the radio. You just don't, hawk stuff just to hawk stuff. So you got a lot of credibility with things like that. But I'm not surprised either, because Saliga Heating and Cooling has been taking care of great care of us and a lot of people we know, including neighbors, for a long, long time.
So Wheels and I always try to listen to Gas House when I can, but we were having lunch today, and we made a point to get out as early as we could to get back by noon to hear Ollie, and it didn't disappoint. It was quite a segment. So I have pointed questions, but I want to start out just by getting your impression of the interview.
There were a couple things. I mean, we put the questions out there that needed to be addressed, like not starting Sonny Gray against the Cubs. His explanation made sense on one level, but it was also lacking in a way. But I also believe Ollie Marmol has got his hands tied in a lot of different ways, because, Sonny Gray likes a set routine. Sonny Gray wants it to be done this way. This is how he wants to pitch. This is how many days off he wants. And, I know fans think that he should just basically, any manager should just bark out orders to Sonny Gray. It doesn't work like that in any clubhouse. The other thing, he's got his hands tied by Ryan Helsley, because he's got a routine. He doesn't want to pitch, unless it's a save situation. He doesn't want to pitch more than one inning. And this, I mentioned that stuff to lead up to the next thing. It was my impression that Ollie Marmol was really frustrated, and I can only speculate what he's frustrated about. But I do know some things, and if you were to ask me, well, what could he possibly be frustrated about other than, their recent play? My educated guess would be that he's frustrated about some roster considerations. And maybe there's some things that he wants to do, like remove Fedde from the rotation, maybe move Michaelis out in some way, maybe have Fedde and Michaelis work as a tandem in one of those starts. one of them start, one relieve, and then, McGreevy's in the rotation. And maybe he is being told no by his boss. And let's remind everyone that the president of baseball operation controls the roster. And it's not like the manager, even if the manager has ideas to sort of go against the grain, they're not normal, the way things are done normally. The president of the baseball operations, can very much push back against that with a lot of authority. Now, I could be irresponsible if I am off base about this, but frankly, I don't think I am off base about this because we know how John Mozeliak rolls, and we know that it is a very weird time down at Busch Stadium in terms of the transition to a new guy who has not yet taken over for John Mozeliak. I don't even know what to say about that other than that.
I had the same reaction you did, Bern, in watching it and listening to it. There's a clear frustration that feels like, because I don't communicate directly with the manager. I don't text him. I don't, like, if I see him, I say hi, but it's not like a regular thing. So I'm not getting any, this is not inside. This is my read. He comes across as a frustrated person that is somewhat handcuffed in what he's able to do. And I'm not talking about the Sonny thing as much as the Michaelis and Fedde. And, I did find it interesting that he said that if Matz hadn't had to be used the way that he was Saturday, that he would have been an opener for Fedde on Sunday, which is one of the things you and Matt and I talked a lot about. Like, these are the creative things, and seemed to be very open to it. But he also said something that was a little bit, I'm curious to get if your read was the same as mine, Bern. Because when you guys asked about that, he mentioned that there are multiple voices at the table when you're talking about doing things like openers. And then he referred to kind of running the clubhouse and I read that as the players don't want it. And
I read that too.
And
same way.
In that sense, I do not have sympathy, because if a player doesn't want it, then they need to pitch better.
Why would they not want it? What is it about using an opener that they would not like?
Breaks their routine. They're veterans. They're used to a certain way of doing it, right? I mean, I don't know if you read it differently than that, Bern, but like guys like Fedde and Michaelis, they've been doing this since they were 10 years old, and they're starters, and they don't want it to change.
I agree with that. I feel the same way. And if indeed that's the case, then I just throw my hands up and actually might throw some other things up. And I would just say, what in the world gives Fedde and Michaelis, if it's them, gives them the idea that they're calling the shots or they deserve to be treated with the utmost respect? They are punching bags, okay? They're a liability to the team. Michaelis ought to count his blessings along with his money every single night before he goes to sleep. He should have no standing there. Fedde should not have any standing there. Fedde hasn't even been a Cardinal all that long. So listen, pitchers especially can be finicky, but at some point, I understand any frustration he has with John Mozeliak, but at some point, with Ryan Helsley, for example, the Helsley rules, you have a closer who never pitches. So what's the point? Ryan Helsley shouldn't be saying, well, this is how I want to be used, period. Right. No pitcher should be sitting there, voicing his displeasure with the idea of being part of a bullpen game, let's say. Like, where do they get off with that, if indeed that's what's happening? But I suspect your hunch is correct.
And then I would then ask the question again. This is most of what we talked about, like what you guys talked about today. Most of it, I felt sympathetic toward the manager.
Right.
I was like, I get it. I understand the idea that the manager doesn't make all of those calls. He certainly doesn't make roster moves. And when McGreevy's name came up, he sure seemed eager to praise and, I'd love to have him here. I'm sure he
has
would.
said that. Listen, in our conversation with him every week, it just about comes up. He underlines every week how much he wants McGreevy, how much he loves McGreevy. But he often follows that up with, but as you guys know, I don't make the roster decision.
Right.
Which is like, that is a pretty direct shot at his boss.
I mean, even if it's not intended that way, it is. And I think it underscores a really interesting dynamic. This is the modern game. You look at 30 teams out there, almost no manager has the sway to do what, say, Tony La Russa would do back in the day, which is go in and pound the table and demand. Now, listen, this guy's going down, bring this guy up, or go get a trade done, whatever. The dynamic is different in baseball now, and that's not just a Cardinals thing.
I will say this, covering La Russa as closely as I did for 16 years. La Russa, the opinions and the feelings of veterans who had established themselves as asset. La Russa was very much in touch with that.
Absolutely.
But when guys when guys actually they don't help you win, they actually are a main reason of why you're losing. I wouldn't care what they think. It's like, you're not doing your job. So who are you to try to interfere with me doing my job? It's one thing if a Chris Carpenter tells the Tony La Russa, hypothetically, well, this routine skip would work better for me. Here's why. And La Russa, it might be Izzy, it might be Carpenter, it might have been Matt Morris, it could have been any number of the Wainwright, any number of those pitchers. La Russa will, when he possibly can, he will defer to them because they had huge credibility and they were extremely valuable. And they also were very much team first players. But if we're talking about Fedde and Michaelis, they should have no standing whatsoever in that clubhouse.
It is an interesting thing because I also think, and again, I'm not trying to be too harsh because I don't know what's inside each person's mind. It's a valid thing to say that maybe those guys just think they can best help the team in the starting role. But I would prefer a team that would be willing to, a player that would be willing to do what is best for the team in the moment. And all these other teams that you cited today, you cited the Dodgers, the Tigers, the Rays. There's a lot of teams that do these creative things. And the reason it works is because the players buy in.
Right.
And the players say, whatever it takes to win, that's what I'm willing to do. And maybe they just believe that they'll win better if they start. But if they believe that, they're not looking, because I'm going to have this for tonight. But I would be willing to bet you that from opening day 2023 until now, Miles Michaelis will rank as the 5th or 6th worst pitcher in baseball.
Well, I can tell you that he does. I mean, I did the research on that the other day, and the numbers are probably just as bad as you think they are. In fact, 77 starting pitchers that have had enough qualifying innings since 2023. He ranks 72nd out of 77 in ERA. He ranks 73rd out of 77 in strikeout rate. He has the worst swing and miss rate of the 77, and in a metric that I very much value, win probability added, which simply means, does this guy help you win games, or is he a detriment to winning games? Miles Michaelis over the last 3 seasons ranks 75th among 77 starting pitchers in win probability added. So, yeah, we're talking about a bottom 3 shell of a starting pitcher who's got very little value. He's not even an innings eater anymore. But yet, the president of baseball operation, dang it, I gave him 2 contract extensions, and he's had 1 good year since I did it. But dang it, we're going to go down with Miles Michaelis.
What about
this stuff is just cuckoo, man.
What about the unspoken dynamic of Mozeliak and Chaim Bloom? This must be Chaim Bloom knew going in this was going to be the deal. This was not his year, but that must be really frustrating to be Chaim.
And listen, I've been told they get along great because Mo was very much on board with hiring him, and Bill DeWitt wanted to do it. They sort of, but listen, and Chaim Bloom's a really class guy, so he's not going to say a word to anybody. He's going to keep his feelings to himself. But I can only imagine some of the stuff that he thinks privately inside his own head. I can only imagine this stuff. And I also, this will sound really, really harsh. Listen, man, I'm not a hot take guy at all. But when I have a strong feeling, I will vent it. I think John Mozeliak ought to step aside and let Chaim Bloom handle the trade deadline. I'll just leave it at that. But he won't. So that's not going to happen.
Interesting.
Kev, your thought?
I would say at the very least, if not that, because I would co-sign on it with Byrne. I would say at the very least they should be co-equal in that, because obviously, and especially they've already said this too. So to be clear, the team has said decisions that impact the future will have input from Bloom. So if
Right.
you're going to trade prospects or something along those lines, or if you're going to trade for a multi-year deal, for example, then that would certainly include the new guy coming in. But I don't understand what's being missed in some of these things. 'Cause I know these are smart people. Mo's a smart guy. I just don't know why the attachment is so strong here.
I think the losing and the criticism maybe has just kind of been heaped on Mo to the point where it's just maybe he has I don't know how to explain it. It just messes with somebody's head. I mean, I can't stand in his shoes, and I like him personally, even though I'm hard on him.
Agreed.
But one other final thought about this: if indeed there is some type of push back, anything to do with sort of moving Fedde aside for now, or maybe having Michaelis and Fedde share a rotation spot to appease Mozeliak or something like that. Wheels, I'm going to go back to something that you have said, Paulie has said, I have said, others have said, which is, okay, Fedde and Michaelis, do they fit the runway season? No, they do not. Okay, well, then that must mean that they're there because they help you win and they will help you get to the playoffs. No, that's not it either. So what is the point exactly?
I think it's
you're not going to be able to get anything of value in a trade for Fedde.
I think it's a sunk cost fallacy, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's just we put so much into it. So, all right, Bern, we can't thank you enough for making this unscheduled appearance. We really appreciate it.
Anytime, call up the Bernie phone. Just press the button. I'll have a flashing red light go off.
Send up the Bernie signal. I love it.
So take it. All right, take care, guys.
All right, pal. I'll tell you guys about SmartMouth. So here's the deal. Dr. Cohen, who is a genius dentist from St. Louis a couple decades ago, cracked the code on bad breath. We've always thought like your breath is fine, but then you put onions or garlic in your mouth and you're going to have bad breath, or you sleep with your mouth open or something. No, it turns out it's sulfur gas. It is the natural way that things decay. It's not too much different than roadkill on the side of the highway. The bacteria develop, and that develops sulfur gas. That's the smell of decay. That's the smell of your bad breath. So SmartMouth has 2 chambers with 2 liquids that, when combined, release zinc ions, which kill the sulfur gas, cover the bacteria so that they don't come back for 12 hours.
Yeah, you use that twice a day, and that's 24-hour bad breath protection. There is a SmartMouth formula for everyone. The original activated mouthwash. They have a clinical mouthwash, a dry mouth rinse, gum health, mouth sore, whatever is going on with you, SmartMouth has a solution. Check out smartmouth.com/Glover to learn more.
You know how you always want to know about everyone else's money? On the podcast, What We Spend, guests will, for 1 week, tell us everything they spend their money on.
My son slammed $6 worth of blueberries in 5 minutes.
And everything that makes them feel.
I want to own a house. I want to have a child. But this morning, I really wanted a coffee.
Because at the end of the day, money is always about more than your balance. Listen to and follow What We Spend, an Odyssey original podcast. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Drury Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. This is National Cancer Survivor Awareness Month, and we are joined by Dr. Lindsay Peterson.
And the program at Siteman Cancer Center is always evolving to address the needs of all of our patients. And so we want to know, what patients need, what we can do for them, and we want to make sure that we're providing those different resources for them.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, go to siteman.wustl.edu.
1120 AM, 1041 FM, and streaming on the Odyssey app. KMOX is with you, however you listen, wherever you listen.
Welcome back, DGS on KMOX. So, great show so far. In fact, so good, I think we should be able to take the next 90 minutes off. Just mail it in. Yeah. We'll do the bit about the chimps putting the grass up their butts again.
All right.
No, there's controversy in the Kansas City sports world as well. Have you guys seen this?
No.
So Patrick Mahomes took a picture with his lovely wife, and Patrick is not exactly ripped. And a KC radio people just suck, went off on him, called him fat, says he needs to stop ordering bacon on DoorDash, and he's an embarrassment to the Chiefs. Here's the thing. When I was buddies with Bolger, we still are good buddies, but when he was here playing, and Bolger's a tall, handsome drink of water, built well, but he's built like a quarterback. And he would talk about, I need a little extra because I am getting my ass handed to me. Patrick Mahomes, even if he does have a dad bod, he's freaking Patrick Mahomes. I don't care if he weighs 300 pounds. If he weighs 300 pounds and he wins Super Bowls, who cares?
And if it's anything like last year, he's going to get sacked 8 times
a freaking
game.
I'm looking at the picture right now. I think Patrick Mahomes looks great.
He just looks like a normal guy.
He looks completely
he looks like
normal.
An athlete.
He looks in shape. And I would love for whoever this radio host is in Kansas City to take off his shirt and post the picture to the internet, and then we can all have our say about what's going on.
I bet he's a workout
him.
fiend if I had to guess.
Really?
Just because of the way he's talking.
Well,
just
I
the
don't
way
know.
that he would judge. I'm guessing that's what he is, because he's probably one of those fitness nerds.
Kevin out of nowhere, just like, no, I bet he's hot as hell.
No, I bet he is, because that's how those guys. That's how the bros talk.
I bet he's freaking jacked.
Those workout bros talk that way. Like, oh, look at that guy. He's got a dad bod. Like, who cares? He's one of the best in the world at what he does.
I wouldn't call this a dad bod. You can see abs. Like, you can see like the top of his abs in these photos.
Have you never seen a quarterback before? I covered Dan Marino when he was with the Dolphins, man. You know what he was doing?
Example.
You know what Dan Marino was doing while the team was running sprints in training camp? He was standing next to the coach chewing tobacco and spitting in a cup. Like, it doesn't matter for those guys. Now, some of them are. Lamar Jackson's in amazing shape. Josh Allen is a freak of nature, and he's in amazing shape. But it's not a prerequisite for a quarterback. You need to be able to do your job.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files? has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
It's time to check in with Dave Murray's weather forecast.
It's an afternoon to keep an eye on the sky. We're going to see some scattered thunderstorms around, partly sunny skies. Some of these storms could go strong to severe. They're not for everybody. They are scattered, but we have to watch. Prime time is during the afternoon up until about 8 o'clock this evening. 92 for the high. Tonight, clouds, a couple of thunderstorms here and there during the evening. 73. Wednesday, partly sunny. Thunderstorm here and there near 90. Quiet Wednesday night. Thursday, mostly sunny, maybe a spot storm, but pretty tough to find, 92. Check out that full moon Thursday night. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Brought to you by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. Hi, Margaret at Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all have one thing in common. We're all going to die. Do you have an estate plan? Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com. The choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on advertising.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for 213 Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. Look, 213 Complex is the most effective and powerful all-natural weight loss supplement ever developed, and here's why. It optimizes thyroid function, and it boosts your metabolism 24 hours a day, while you're sleeping too. So you're burning more stored body fat. Also getting that appetite and craving control that I love. You get all-day focused energy with no jitters, so all you need to do is get out to supplement superstores, tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off 213 Complex. Find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Hi, this is Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial. Let's tune out the noise a little bit and focus on a retirement plan. If you don't have one or don't know how to get started, find us on our website at saxfinancial.com or retiresafestl.com.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. You know, when you go to the Audiology Center, you'll see a doctor of audiology. And with us right now, Dr. Colleen Bosler. Dr. Bosler, what are some of the signs of hearing loss?
Well, it's a number of things. Sometimes loved ones notice a person asking others to repeat themselves, or the television is too loud. What people tend to notice first with hearing loss is the loss of clarity. They can hear people talking, but they cannot always understand what's being said. That's because the hearing loss can cause you to miss certain consonant sounds, and those consonant sounds give us the detail to the word. A hearing aid can help bring back those details and give you a sense of clarity that you're missing.
Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center with 3 locations in the greater St. Louis area. Call for an appointment, 636-441-7470. Online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Tell you guys about the Gilman team. So I'm kind of talking out of my butt here, but it seems to me that there is a difference between a real estate broker and a real estate agent. A broker, for example, would be you list your house with them, you list it for $500,000. Someone offers you $450,000 and they go, "What do you think?" And you're like, "I don't know. I guess I'll take it." Okay, then I'll go take my commission. An agent is going to bring something to the table before, during, and after the sale. And having done 3 real estate transactions with the Gelmans over the past few years, I can tell you that they're fantastic. It's not just that they're paying me to say that. I have first-hand experience with it. They're great at communication. They're great at not just when you think about negotiations, even being a former attorney and having negotiated a ton, I still picture like someone pounding the desk and I know we're not taking a penny under $525. But it's more intellectual than that. They really set you up for success. They get multiple offers. It is not a bad real estate market here in St. Louis. It's pretty bad nationwide, but it's fair. When I had Neil Gelman on the other day, he was saying that in St. Louis, it's equitable. If your house is $500,000, if you have a good real estate agent, you can get $500,000 pretty quickly, maybe even a little smidge more than that, but you have to earn it these days. No one earns it like the Gelman team. If you want to find out what we think your house is worth right now, go to the front page of thegelmanteam.com when you're ready to talk, 314-336-1991.
Certain restrictions apply.
Today, the Cards, the Nationals. Emron Total Access 550. Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Our conversation with Ricky Horton is brought to you by Goodwill. Give hope, give local, give Goodwill.
Welcome back, guys. DGS on KMOX. Time to talk to our pal Ricky Horton. Hello, Rick.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Well, Rick, there's a big game tonight. I'm sure you've heard of it. The Bud Light All-Stars are playing the Jets. And so I reserved a seat for you at 7:15 at SLU. Come on by.
Let me see if I'm busy. I might be a little busy, but I'll see if I can cut away for a bit.
Fair enough. Maybe you get a couple of innings. It's fine.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to let the game breathe. Maybe I let it breathe for 2 innings, so it's fine.
That's right. So we've had quite a day here on KMOX. First of all, congratulations to KMOX and the Cardinals for renewing their relationship. That's huge.
Yeah.
Appreciate
that's
that.
outstanding. So good. Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome.
And then the Gas House Gang had Ali on, as they do every Tuesday, and he was, as Ali always is, very candid and honest, and a couple of interesting things came out of it, and I'll just sum them up for you, and then I'll let Kevin Wheeler take over. But from the bleacher seat where I sat, it seemed like Ali was saying, hey, I am the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals. I am not the general manager. I'm not the president of baseball operations. I put the people on the field who they give me. And that was interesting. And then secondly, it seemed like he was saying that if they went to an opener situation, which quite candidly, I'd never heard of before, where you have someone open for the opener, but it seems intriguing to me that it may not go over so well in the clubhouse. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I mean, the two things, let me start with the first thing. I think that is the way it is everywhere right now, that the manager kind of just, I think that's true of Dave Roberts in LA.
Yep.
It's true of Tito Francona in Cincinnati. I mean, that's just kind of the way the structure of the game is right now, that managers will manage who that you give them, but they don't, it's not Whitey Herzog anymore. It's not Whitey Herzog saying, I want that guy and I'm going to play this guy and I'm going to start this guy. It's just not that way anymore. And I think Tony La Russa was like that as well. So that's for sure. I think the opener question is interesting as to whether or not that would go over well in the clubhouse. I feel like, the opener thing is it's an option. I would call it an option for a guy when you've got a pitcher that's struggling. I think that's an option.
Yeah, in fact, Ollie did say, Ricky, that on Sunday, Matz was going to be the opener for Fetty, but they needed him to win the game Saturday. So obviously, you choose to win the game and not worry about the next day. So they've definitely were preparing for that. They've talked about it. But he was the one that kind of hinted at, and again, he didn't say it directly, but he was kind of like, there's more than one voice involved in this. And he mentioned, keeping the clubhouse online. And I get it. I know that starting pitchers really take pride in being starting pitchers, and they've been doing it their whole lives. But there's also this element of if you're not doing the job, sometimes your job changes.
Yeah, yes. And I think the voice in the clubhouse, I think it's always smart to be sensitive to kind of where everybody is in the clubhouse. But I think, that kind of swings two different ways. It's like, it's like the teams that say when you get to the trading deadline, we need help. You can also twist that to say
right.
that team is saying we're not very good and get rid of that guy. I mean, so you have to be kind of sensitive to the fact that, there are people involved and you have to handle it appropriately. But honestly, you got to do what's best for the team ultimately. And so I'm sure that, look, there's not an option that they haven't thought about already, but I know that opener is certainly one of them.
So I find this to be an interesting, bigger picture question, Rick, and you've been around the game your whole life. People on the outside like me, we tend to gravitate toward change faster than teams do. Teams are going to be maybe too slow, and people like me are going to be too fast. And I wonder if there's a medium, like a middle ground there, where maybe that would be the ideal time to make a change, whether it's a lineup change, different role in the pen, opener, that kind of stuff, whatever it happens to be.
So I don't want to send everybody to the library. Are there any libraries anymore? I'm not even sure they exist.
Right across the street from where we are.
But you can get it online if you need to. But there was a book called Leading Change that I read several years ago in an organization where I was actually leading change. And there's a lot of principles involved in that. And part of it is you get buy-in, and you get buy-in on multiple levels. And there's so many great principles in that particular book. Again, Leading Change, I think Andy Stanley wrote it. But the point is, it was all about kind of, the idea may be good, but there are people, there are assets, there's future, there's communication, there's marketing, there's all kinds of things that go along with any kind of change that you make. And if you just make it without thinking all those things through, you end up getting in trouble.
It's interesting times. It's funny. The pitching was, this conversation about, Fedde and Michaelis, and then also kind of how Sonny was aligned. All that was kind of a big part of the conversation. But there was also some talk about the offense, Ricky, which has been an interesting mystery because it's for the last, maybe 3 weeks, it's been either on or off. When it's on, it's 7, 8, 9 runs. When it's off, it's nothing.
Yeah, and I think you could probably point to the Dodgers and say the same thing. You could point to the Pirates certainly and say the same thing because they were gangbusters against us, and then they haven't had a hit since. I mean, it is weird the way baseball is. It's very cyclical, and again, that's part of it. Part of this change question is, you have to look at kind of a longer range view of it to say what's going on in the last week or what's going on in the last 2 weeks, maybe even better way to say it. And again, it hasn't been great. The offense has not been great, no question. But you can't kind of discard kind of what happened, 3 weeks ago or what the potential is going forward. And it's tricky business when you try to figure out how to handle changes with that. But I think obviously the offense has to gel or the Cardinals for the Cardinals to compete. It just has to.
Yeah, and we all when Ollie was talking about it, he mentioned there are a lot of guys that are just going through things, physical things like Arenado's been banged up, and obviously Herrera's out.
Burley's
been
Burley
banged
is
up.
too. I mean, yes.
And in the earlier part of the year, Ricky, all of us here, you with us on DGS, Bernie and Matt Pauly and I, all of us on our various shows would talk about should this guy play, should that guy. That's not even really a question right now. With Jordan Walker out and Herrera out, it's kind of pretty straightforward what you're going to run out there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's very true. And so you don't have as many choices, that's for sure. Right. And, the choice became, do you play Hampson in center or do you play Fermin in left and Nootbaar to center? I mean, you did not imagine that scenario 3 weeks ago. No. And that's, the Cardinals really missed Ivan Herrera. And, he's not the greatest defensive player in the world. He's really learning. He's working on it. He's getting better. But the dude can hit. And to not have him on a daily basis just creates a hole, no question.
So congratulations to Brendan Donovan getting his first All-Star nod. Rick, are you a big All-Star guy? Do you enjoy that week?
I'm not a big fan of the All-Star game. I think they've monkeyed with it so many times over the years. I really have great disdain for the home run derby. I just don't like it because it's not baseball. So I don't like that. The All-Star game used to be just a kind of an exhibition between the American League and the National League. And frankly, there is no American League and National League anymore. There's just Major League teams because they play everybody. It doesn't feel the same way it used to when you would have, a big star in the National League play against a big star in the American League. Wow, I wonder what that's going to be like. Well, you know what it's like because they played against each other last week. So I think a lot of the mystique about the All-Star game is gone, and I almost never watch it.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. You're right, Rick. I mean, it's something that the league has tried to fight, but I don't know that you can while the world is what it was. I mean, when I was a kid and when all of us were kids, the three of us, it was the only time of year a lot of us saw the other league's players. Yeah. And you didn't see many games.
That's right.
At that time, how many games a week were even on TV? 2? Now it's every night and you see everybody all the time.
So that's part of it. And it was also it's interesting because it used to be a contrast in styles. There was a National League style of play. There was an American League style of play. And then, which will work better when they play each other? This is interesting. And so now that's not even a thing. The strike zones are the same. The rules are the same. It was DH, no DH, and I'm going way back now. But before the DH, it was clearly a different style of game. And now it's kind of morphed into, it's like everybody plays everybody. It feels like the NBA. I mean, I don't even know the divisions anymore in the NBA. It doesn't matter. It's just, are you the best or not, kind of how it works. And I don't care for that personally. I think it takes away some of the rivalry stuff that you have interdivision and also the mystique of playing the other league.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. Have a great game tonight.
Yeah. Yep. Great to chat with you guys.
Do you know that by donating your gently used items to Goodwill, you're not only giving those items a new life, but you're helping people right here in your community enrich their lives with meaningful work? Your donations support Goodwill's mission of helping people with barriers to employment to be able to get rewarding jobs, which provide not only a paycheck, but a very important sense of purpose. Your donations really do change lives. Give hope, give local, give Goodwill.
Cardinals fans, join the conversation at Busch Stadium with some of your favorite former Cardinals. With the Cardinals Conversations presented by Edward Jones, you'll hear from former Cardinals such as Ozzie Smith, Ted Simmons, Ray Langford, David Eckstein, or David Freese. Each conversation hosted by Cardinals announcers Chip Carey or Brad Thompson. Your experience also will include a ticket to the game, a pre-signed photo, and the opportunity to take your photo with the featured player. Get your tickets today at cardinals.com/conversations.
Experience the magic of the Fabulous Foxes 2025-2026 Broadway season, which includes the return of St. Louis favorite, The Phantom of the Opera, and the spellbinding spectacular Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And right now, KMOX has your chance to win a pair of season tickets for the 2025-2026 season. Prize package includes a pair of tickets for all 8 shows in the subscription package. Register now online at KMOX.com/contests for your chance to win.
So there are certain people, certain professionals, certain companies, certain sports teams that are just elite. And even if you're not a fan, you recognize that. And that's the way it is with Mosby Building Arts and Mr. Mosby. They are just elite. It is a very high level of performance. They do all sorts of work around your house. They're excellent at all of it, kind of highlighting the outdoor stuff here, whether it's garage doors or entry doors or decks and outdoor sorts of, like I always say, anything that you can imagine. Anything that you can rip off from somebody else. Go to somebody's house and you're coveting their outdoor area. Maybe they have like a really nice cooking station or a pizza oven or just a really nice patio and you're really jealous of that. Go talk to Mr. Mosby. He can make that happen. Absolutely. Like I say, they are just AAA Sterling, as good as it gets. They'll make anything that you can imagine come to life. 314-909-1800 to check out a lot of their displays online. Go to mosbybuildingarts.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
At California Psychics, we know some people can't read the career warning signs, like your boss still not knowing your name.
You, Tina, Lisa, Sheila, whatever. Get that report to me by lunch, okay? It's Carrie, ma'am. Just get it done, Terry.
So talk to California Psychics and receive the career guidance you need. We only connect you with the very best, so guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM. Visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Welcome back, DGS 1041 FM KMOX 249. So, Rach, you have a hot take? You think people should wear shirts in public?
I do. I don't want to get canceled for this, but I do believe my position is if you are walking around downtown St. Louis, put a shirt on because it's just kind of weird that you're not wearing a shirt. And I witnessed that this morning. It was a family. Maybe they're on vacation. Who knows what's going on?
Yeah, who needs shirts on vacation?
But it was a mom and a dad and a little girl and a little boy. He looked to me maybe 11 or 12 years old. And he was walking around down Market Street, and he wasn't wearing a shirt. And my first thought was, I hope he has sunscreen on because it's a hot day and he doesn't need to be exposed to the elements like this. I see his mom carrying his shirt for him. And I'm just going like, I mean, I guess I kind of get the decision. Your kid is complaining he's hot, so he wants to take off his shirt. But we're in the middle of a city filled with people. It just feels
I'm torn on this.
Weird.
Because I'm from South Roxana. And one time when Phoebe and I were driving to see my mom, she was about 7. And after running across 3 or 4 groups of people, she said, does anyone wear a shirt in this town? So shirts are strictly optional in South Roxana.
I do. I mean, maybe
actually wear them as pants a lot.
Maybe I'm a hypocrite, but I do think it's different in South Roxana than it is in, I mean, you're in downtown St. Louis.
You're in a city.
Yeah, it's like we're city folks over here. Put a dang shirt on. It just feels crazy. Like, put on a shirt. Am I nuts? Like,
no.
It was just like, what are you doing?
Your standards for downtown are just so high.
Dude.
Yeah.
You're really shooting for the stars.
And then
on
it bothered
this.
me that the mom was carrying the shirt. I'm like, if he's not going to wear a shirt, he can carry it himself. He's okay.
Yeah.
What's going on in this household?
And you can be honest, did the family seem weird?
No, they just seemed like they were visiting downtown and he didn't want to be wearing a shirt, which I get. But we're not at the beach.
Did he have a Patrick Mahomes body?
He did not. He was quite thin for a 12-year-old boy.
And what's the thing about spray tanning kids?
So a woman posted on like Facebook, TikTok, somewhere that she took her 7-year-old daughter to go get a spray tan, like just for funsies. And she said, you know, it's not a toxic formula. We used a special formula that's basically just sugar and water, but she wanted the spray tan, so we got it done. And a lot of people were commenting and saying like, I don't know. I mean, I understand getting nails done and getting hair done and playing dress up and having fun, but like actually changing the tone of your skin at that young of an age, it feels a little icky. And
I
weird.
could see if it's a one-off, hey, this would be a crazy thing to do. But more than once, no. On a regular basis, and spray tanning your kid, no.
I just think things like that usually turn into a more than one time thing.
Yeah.
Because the little girl is going to understandably like be excited that she got to do it. And again, I'm not a parent, so I guess it's really none of my business, but I don't think it's the choice I would make.
I'm asking for a friend, but how old is too old to get a spray tan?
How old is too old?
Yeah, say like plus or minus 60.
Look, you know me, Dave. I was on the spray tan train for years.
Yeah.
Every summer, I had my membership and I was going and getting it done. Haven't done it for about 3 summers now. I feel so nice just embracing my natural pale skin tone. There are times where I'm like, yeah, I wish I was a little more tan, but I am loving not having like it streaking off or like it smells weird when you get it done. It just doesn't smell like you. And then you go to sleep that night and you're all like sticky from the spray tan. I feel happy that I've left that in the past.
It's been quite a while since I've spray tanned as well. A couple of summers. So I'm just pretty much my natural color too.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you're pretty just generally kind of tan.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although my thighs, they look like brining turkeys.
The parts that are generally exposed on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. 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 Amy Mark scores ruined me on that when she did the whole should men wear shorts ever. And I'm like, you took my sandals away.
First of all, why can't men wear shorts?
Ask Amy.
Did she say you can't?
She was just asking the question.
Oh, okay. I was
but
gonna
just
say.
asking the question suggests.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, if anybody thinks no, what's wrong with you?
I mean, I feel like now. Don't get me wrong. I wear them every weekend, but I feel like
and sometimes just shorts.
Sometimes just shorts.
Like when you went to your dad's house and you
Who
didn't
am I
take a shirt.
talking to? Whipping his shirt off
Just
all
for
the time.
for the people who haven't been here long enough, this is one of my favorite Andrew stories ever. And I know you're going to defend yourself, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But Andrew and his wife were going a few blocks to his dad's house.
Two-ish
blocks. And Andrew decided not to wear a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my favorite part of it, because you had a shirt at your dad's.
Yeah, there was a shirt waiting for me when I got there.
There was a shirt waiting for you there.
I knew there was a shirt waiting for me when I got there. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to wear a shirt. Like, I already wasn't wearing a shirt.
You don't need 2 shirts.
I'm not going to put on a shirt to walk 2 blocks and then change shirts.
Like putting a hat on a hat.
Yeah, once I get there, there's no need for that.
So it wasn't an option to just wear a shirt and then get the other one while you're there and bring it home?
Well, I needed to wear the shirt that I was going there to get.
It was a special shirt.
Yeah.
I gotcha. I did not realize that.
Yeah, it was my Chiefs shirt, and I was going over there for the football game.
Gotcha.
If you were walking down Market Street towards Union Station, would you have a shirt on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause you're
this is
normal
a
person.
So
this
once
is
again,
a
it's an East Side thing.
This is just a neighborhood
it's a
thing.
it's a residential neighborhood. I feel
Yeah.
comfortable walking
Yeah.
around my residential neighborhood without a shirt on for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I felt okay about that.
That's a very in any neighborhood you'll see that
Welcome
somebody's
to
cutting the
Alton.
lawn or
Shirts are
whatever.
optional.
Yeah.
There's tons of people in my neighborhood that don't wear shirts.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah,
I don't doubt that one
all
bit.
over the place. So I was like, why not me?
When we started Neoviten back in 2009, we wanted to create a multivitamin that we would take ourselves. That's why we use quality ingredients in our Neoviten Original Formula multivitamin. With over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our physician-formulated proprietary blend, you can be sure you are getting the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neoviten Original Formula multivitamin a try for yourself. Find it at your local Schnucks, Deerbergs, and online at neoviten.com.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about i3 Broadband. You've heard me talk about them. They provide the internet in my home. I love them so much. The reliability is great. Let's talk about price for a moment, though. They've got an introductory rate at $19.99 a month for one of their service options. No bundle ever required. You're going to save $10 a month over the cable company. They've got great pricing on all of their different packages, going up to 8 gigs upload and download speed, always mirrored. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Put your address in at i3broadband.com.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius or two half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Winner of 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards, including Overall Excellence. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
At 3 o'clock, this hour's news is sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. We've got some clouds. It's 90 degrees downtown at the Arch. The National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Calhoun County in Illinois, Lincoln County, and St. Charles County in Missouri. It's until 3:30. This is a thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and small hail. President Trump is defending his latest move on tariffs.
President Trump has sent letters to the leaders of several nations saying his 90-day pause on tariffs is ending, and soon countries will have to pay up.
We don't change very much. Every time we put out a statement, they say he made a change. I didn't make a change. Clarification, maybe. No, August 1st they pay.
Speaking at a cabinet meeting, the president said pharmaceutical companies also will have to pay.
They're going to be tariffed at a very, very high rate, like 200%.
But first, he says they'll be given about a year or a year and a half before those tariffs kick in. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Missouri Task Force 1 is helping with flood recovery in Texas, where the death toll now tops 100.
They asked us to send 4 HRD or human remains detection canine dogs and handlers. And then we also sent 1 additional member on the Type 3 team as a search team manager to help with that, those extra dogs.
Boone County Assistant Fire Chief Gail Blumenkamp tells KMOX the 52-member team left Missouri early yesterday. The original plan was to help with search and recovery in Kerr County, but now the team is in San Antonio awaiting instructions from the locals. The man who ran over 2 women after a Drake concert could get up to 50 years in prison.
This is Stuart McMillan. I sat in the civil courts building a row in front of Monty Henderson's family, who were asked to remain quiet during the plea hearing, but it was impossible for them to hold back emotions, crying and sobbing as the judge revoked the 23-year-old's bond. He was ordered to serve in jail until sentencing September 19th. He pled guilty to all 4 counts as he now admits to running over 2 women after a Drake concert last year. The assistant circuit attorney mentioned the fact that he was nearly 2 points over the legal limit, but interestingly enough, no DWI charge was tacked on. The state argued that he is a danger to the community and a flight risk. The judge agreed.
The long relationship continues. The Cardinals and KMOX are extending our agreement to be the team's flagship radio station by multiple years. Odyssey St. Louis market manager Becky Damian says the team was thrilled when KMOX added the FM option.
What it does for the Cardinals, it expands the reach that was already so immense. I mean, if you think about how Cardinals fans were created and the stories that come along with, the Cardinals network and Cardinal Nation, usually it all starts with KMOX, right? People in Illinois, Arkansas, all of these surrounding states became fans because of KMOX. So to increase our reach and our signal, it just continues to grow that fan base and grow that network, and they're super excited about it.
Damian says being the home of the Cardinals fits perfectly with KMOX's mission to be the voice of St. Louis. Let's get an update right now. The St. Louis Business Index with Stifel's Scott Bedell. Scott?
Good afternoon, Michael. Hello, everyone. Financial markets experienced a second day of sideways to down prices as the tariff talks continue to dominate the headlines. At the 3 p.m. closing bell, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was lower by 165 points, or just about 0.33% at 44,240. The Standard & Poor's 500 index lower by just 4 points at 6,225, while the NASDAQ Composite Index was up by 6 points to close at 20,418. The Bloomberg St. Louis Stock Index was just about unchanged at 1,588. Looking at some stocks of local interest, Energizer gained 3.25% to 21.75. Bayer Corporation up 4.33% at $7.97. On the downside, Centene continued on its troubled path, losing 1.4% to $32.60. Anheuser-Busch fell 1.5% at $67.56. And finally, Stifel Financial unchanged at $107.45. This has been Scott Bedell from Stifel Financial, member SIPC and New York Stock Exchange. For more information on our firm, we invite you to visit our website at stifel.com.
We've got a couple stalled vehicles, 70 west to Jennings Station and 55 north at Butler Hill. Also, emergency vehicles are on 70 eastbound at Route TW. They're just on the right shoulder there.
It's an afternoon to keep an eye on the sky. We're going to see some scattered thunderstorms around, partly sunny skies. Some of these storms could go strong to severe. They're not for everybody. They are scattered, but we have to watch. Prime time is during the afternoon up until about 8 o'clock this evening. 92 for the high. Tonight, clouds, a couple of thunderstorms here and there during the evening, 73. Wednesday, partly sunny. Thunderstorm here and there near 90. Quiet Wednesday night. Thursday, mostly sunny, maybe a spot storm, but pretty tough to find, 92. Check out that full moon Thursday night. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning and Electrical. We've got some clouds downtown. It's 90 degrees. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
In the 70s, baseball player Jerry Kelly decided to do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
This year, the company Jerry started decided we'd do something different.
Thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating, Air, and Electrical.
And electrical.
JerryKelly.com.
The Dave Glover Show is sponsored by the Michaels Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. IGotFloored.com.
Welcome back, guys. DGS 104.1 FM KMOX. Have a live look from Dave Murray in about a half an hour, although he won't be with us live today. And have some weather moving in sometime this late afternoon, early evening. We'll keep an eye on that for you and go into storm mode if we need to. Stairway to Kevin?
Yeah, let's jump in. I got a thing I've been hanging on to for a little bit, but I think it's just interesting how we perceive things changing around us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of my best friends, super smart guy, one of the smartest people I know. This is a guy that's given a TED Talk. He travels the world doing all kinds of academic study. He is a professor at a big time university. And he asked me a great question, which I think, and it wasn't just of me. It was like 2 or 3 of us that are friends on a text chat. So he asked if I thought that baseball's losing its cultural significance. And he went into some of the kind of things he had looked into to judge that. And part of it was because to him, because the game has changed a certain way, we don't have any more chases right now. Like nobody's chasing Hank Aaron. Nobody's chasing 300 wins. There's not a lot of like historical context that's bringing the modern game to like national headlines, if you will. And my answer to him was what I wanted to get into, because I don't think that that's happening with any one thing more than any other. I think my argument was that everything has lost cultural significance in the last 20 years. No television show carries the weight that a television show used to carry. No, people have abandoned movie theaters for the most part, right? I mean, certain big blockbusters still get big numbers, but not many. And they don't get the numbers they used to get at the movie theater. Music has changed, right? I see people all the time talking about how bands aren't a thing anymore. It's all about solo artists and crossovers and singles, not albums. And albums don't even matter that much except for an excuse to tour. Tours are, and I think you could make the argument for almost anything we do that it's lost the cultural significance that it used to have. And I wanted to see, A, do you guys see it, agree with that? And B, is that just us experiencing change for the first time at our age? Because I guarantee you our parents had things that were culturally significant that ended up not being that for us. And if you look at 50 years ago or 100 years ago, it's a whole different world. Politics are different. Priorities of life are different. Lifestyle is different. The way we dress is different. And what we care about is different. And I felt like my answer was simply that, yeah, sure, maybe if you're looking at the amount of space that Major League Baseball holds on the national conversation, yes, that has decreased. But I would actually argue that it all has, in part because now it's just watered down by the sheer number of things that exist.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you guys' take was on that.
I think it's a perfect answer. I agree with you wholeheartedly. In our business, probably about 10 years ago, so even even before the real change happened, I was asking my boss back then, Jeff Allen, I said, why don't I feel like as big a deal as like Steve and DC were?
Sure. Yeah.
Because I've done it longer. I've done it more successfully, but they were just they were huge stars. And I don't feel like a huge star. And much to my dismay, he said, you're not, and no one ever will be again. There was a moment. I mean, I still, we're on KMOX and I get paid well and I love my career and I love what I do every day, but I'm not a giant star like JC was in the 80s and Steve and DC were in the 90s, and no one is. And everything has been watered down, I think, mostly by social media. And then the death knell, maybe not death, was TikTok. And for whatever reason, society in general and young people in particular decided that they were no longer nearly as interested, if at all, in stars. Movie stars, sports stars, radio stars, comedy stars. They wanted to see their neighbor make bread. And I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah.
I TikTok all the time.
Me too.
And I'm not watching stars. I'm watching people make bread or whatever it happens to be. So I agree that everything culturally has lost between 20 and 50% of its significance.
Except the NFL. That might be the one exception that doesn't seem to be impacted by anything, but I think that's a large gambling thing. There's a lot of issues that go into that. And I was also curious because Rach and Andrew, you guys are 20 plus years younger than us. Does it feel that way to you? That things have changed, or is this just like, all right, well, this has been my life?
He can't even answer that question. He's
You're
just
just
a
a
baby.
baby.
I mean, I definitely feel the change. I think it's because we have the internet now, and with the internet, you can influence people beyond your immediate vicinity. Like growing up, it was like I was influenced by my family. I was influenced by my people I went to school with and my teachers. I was influenced by my church. Those are the only things I ever did. And then I would watch TV, and I had pretty strict rules for my TV watching too. So it was like PBS and stuff like that. Then whenever you are exposed to this whole other world of different ideas and different ways of doing things, I don't blame these kids for wanting to watch their neighbor bake bread. I think if all of us had the opportunity at the age of 11 to dive into whatever special interest we had,
we would have done it.
Yeah, I think it makes total sense. And I have found myself like getting like jealous of even like Gen Z because they grew up with the internet more than I did. I'm not saying this is the case for every single person in that generation, but sometimes it feels like they have a worldliness and an emotional intelligence that I didn't gain until much later in life because there were just certain ideas I was not exposed to.
I can vouch. Phoebe is 20 and she has thoughts and problems and issues that I didn't contemplate until I was 40.
Yeah. Yeah. Same with my kid.
They're just now they're idiots, right? I mean,
yeah,
20 is 20.
Yeah.
But they sadly too, I think she's a much deeper, richer human being at 20 than I was at 30. But she also has worries that I didn't have.
Yeah. No, I saw the same thing with my kid. She's 28, but at the same, I mean, even now I would say she's different at 20. She's more attuned to the world at 28 than I was.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
And if you looked at us at 19, 20, or even as seniors in high school, light years difference between what she was experiencing and what I was experiencing.
She has a window to the world that you didn't have at that period of time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think all of it makes sense. I think it would be weird. I do think it would be strange if like 13-year-olds were like, I don't want to get on TikTok. I want to see what the big star of NBC has to say. I'd be like, you can watch whatever you want.
But it's an interesting thing because Dave, you and I grew up where a lot of what you just ended up watching was what your parents watched.
Of course.
Because there was one,
100%.
maybe two TVs. And maybe one was attached to cable.
Yeah.
And the other one was not. And if you were going to watch the good TV, you were going to watch whatever they were watching, and that was it.
I'm old. I'm sufficiently older than you.
Yeah.
That we didn't have cable until I was pretty old. And the only time I got the television was between 3 and 5.
There you go. Yeah.
So I would watch Brady Bunch and Gilligan's Island.
All of the syndicated
Other
stuff.
than that, it's what Jack Glover wanted to watch.
Yeah.
And that was fine. Like, I would just sit there and eat popcorn and watch Carol Burnett with them.
And now, even if you're in the room, like say your kids are in the room with you, and I experienced this with my kid. She'd be in the room with us watching, but she was on Twitter or, she was messing around, texting friends while some show or movie was on, and it's a different experience. And that's what I always, because I think as the problem that I run into is we tend to repeat the same cycle that every generation before us has, right? We worry about what's being lost, but it's not really being lost because it wasn't that way for our parents. Mm-hmm. It's always going to be different.
Yeah.
It's never going to stay the way that we always remembered it being. The world isn't that way. But I think the speed, Rach, I think you hit on this. The speed of the change is coming faster.
Yeah.
Every year that you go by.
I will say, okay, one thing I do think we might be losing a little bit is when it comes to music. And I don't buy into the idea of like, they don't even make good albums anymore. They do. Like, artists are still putting out like incredibly creative things. I just look at the way when I would get an album when I was 13, 14 years old, I would listen to it over and over again because that was my option. So then you develop this emotional attachment to these songs that maybe if you had Apple Music at the time, I'm not into that song. I'll just kind of skip it or I'll get through it once. But like you kind of were forced to listen or like, waiting for the song.
Songs grow on you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like waiting for the song you want to hear on the radio that night. That is a very special, very personal thing that just doesn't really exist anymore because it's at your fingertips. And I think I wouldn't wish away any of these streaming services when it comes to music. I love being able to access anything I want at any time. But sometimes I do feel like we're losing a bit of that, like falling in love with an artist like you would back in the day.
One thing that's changed a lot is that when I was growing up, we had a very shared experience.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, I didn't go to work and smoke and stand at the water cooler. But everyone who did talked about Johnny Carson.
Yes.
Everyone talked about
MASH the night
before.
Now we got to talk about Labubu. What even is that?
Everyone listened to Journey and Foreigner and the Beatles, and you had your friend who was into alternative or punk, and you're like, you're so weird.
Yeah.
But we all had a very much shared experience, and it was very comfortable. Was it better? Who can say?
Yeah.
It was just very different.
Very much.
And
so.
I agree with Rach that if you took someone out of time and said, hey, you can have 6 channels on this thing, or you can have 1,000. You can have 4 bands, or you can have 500. Well, of course, they're going to say, give me the wider choices.
Sure, yeah. And I agree with Rach too. I love having all of the extra stuff because I even catch myself on. I did this. This happened to me last night, where I went back to an album that I had downloaded a few months ago, and there's like 2 or 3 songs right out of the gate. They're like bangers. I'm like, boom, you're on a playlist, and I just kind of forgot about the rest of the album, and I just put it on last night while I'm going to bed. There's like 3 or 4 more good ones that I never sat through.
Yeah,
and you know how you'll sample like the first 20 seconds of a song. You're like, nope. Where if you just bought a cassette, you're going to listen to them all.
Yeah.
Because it's there.
Yeah.
Parenthetically, I've really been enjoying your intro music on Rush Hour. I've always been a little bit afraid of metal. It's always like when I grew up, it was like, Satan is God and he'll eat your butt. Like, so I'm less scared.
Hey, what's up, flies? This is David Spade. Dana Carvey. Look, I know we never actually left, but I'll just say it. We are back with another season of Fly on the Wall.
Every episode, including ones with guests, will now be on video. Every Thursday, you'll hear us and see us chatting with big-name celebrities.
And every Monday, you're stuck with just me and Dana. We react to news, what's trending, viral clips.
Follow and listen to Fly on the Wall everywhere you get your podcasts.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Let me tell you guys about Dr. Corey Solman, my orthopedic surgeon. He is a super nice guy, and that matters because when you are discussing something like getting a knee replacement or a hip replacement for you or your elderly loved one who may be really afraid of going under general anesthetic, or maybe it's for a young person who's like a little 12-year-old soccer player and tore an ACL or an MCL, and you want someone who can connect with them, not a cold fish, not a God complex surgeon, not someone who's just very cold and austere. That's Corey. He's very cool. He's very nice. He's very funny. He also happens to be one of the very best surgeons in the Midwest. I know so many doctors. As you know, I do lives for many, many doctors. They all kind of know each other, and they send patients back and forth. And all the doctors I know, when someone comes in or they say, hey, by the way, my mom, I think she needs a knee replacement, who would you send me to? They always send him to Dr. Corey Solman. He's out in Chesterfield. When you call, make sure you let him know that you're from the show because he and I are good buddies. 636-231-5881 or Solman, SOLMAN, SolmanOrthopedics.com.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
James talks about his experience with 3-day kitchen and bath.
My wife and I had been talking for several years about getting our kitchen and bathroom remodeled. We'd had some bids actually been made. The thing that always put us off was that they were talking about 2 or 3 months to get all this work done. We heard about 3-day bath and kitchen. We thought that we'd give it a try. They spent 3 days on one of our items and 4 days on another, and the cost was about the same thing as all the people gave us 3-month estimates for. They went out of their way to make sure that we were satisfied with everything when the job was finished. There's simply no question about the idea that they want satisfied customers and they want people who are pleased with their work.
It's about time.
3 days or less.
At 3-day kitchen and bath.
Are you ready? Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. Saturday, August 2nd, Thunder Ridge Nature Arena. With very special guest, Daughtry. And Mammoth. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Don't miss Creed with Daughtry and Mammoth. The Summer of '99 tour. You asked, we delivered. KMOX, now on FM. Crystal clear sound at 104.1 FM.
Welcome back, DGS. Our buddy Amy Youngman says, I'm in St. Peter's, very dark skies, and it just started pouring, exclamation point. So keep us abreast of that out there. If you get underneath the downpour, let us know, and we'll pass it on to everybody. So be careful in St. Peter's. Apropos of the last conversation we just had, which I thought was an excellent conversation, and Rach brought up music, and on the break I brought up, I'm surprised, but the more I think about it, I'm not. But it's a little surprising to me that there hasn't been a band become the new Beatles. Like we saw what happened with Taylor Swift, and we've seen that happen a couple of times to a smaller degree with individual artists. But I can't think of the last band that caught on anything like the Beatles. We're talking about, the Strokes, Foo Fighters, but I think to really do what I'm talking about, people of every generation have to be aware of them. Like, I might not like him. My dad thought that Paul McCartney was a woman, but he knew who the Beatles were, and maybe that just won't happen again.
I don't think it will. I think it's music. I mean, think about the time when the Beatles broke through. Rock and roll was one thing, and now it's metal and hard rock and prog rock and new metal and it's yacht rock. Like, it's literally 20 different things now instead of one thing. Right. So when you were a rock band back then, it was a much more similar sound, and people are used to basically what Rach said in the last segment, that you're used to your lane and you can get really hyper specific into what you're into. So like today, and nothing about the greatness of the Beatles or any of the modern bands being less than, just that the tastes are more specific now.
Well, Rach made a great point on the break that if the Rolling Stones were 25 years old today, they would be a popular group.
Yep.
But they wouldn't be a super group. They would just be a good group.
Yeah, it would be like, wow, these guys are great. They wouldn't have the cultural significance that they hold today, because at the time they came out, there were just so fewer options.
Yeah.
And they've had all this time to kind of solidify themselves. And part of what keeps them great is it's like, man, Jumpin' Jack Flash, heard that for the 3,000th time today. I still like that song. How is that possible? I mean, that is pretty incredible. But if it were released in 2025, would it be like setting the charts on fire? I'm not sure.
So nothing's permanent, but few things regress other than people who are just into retro things. But have we killed stardom?
No, it's just different. It's more Mr. Beast.
It's broader for sure.
Yeah.
It used to be, to be a star, you had to be on television, or you had to be on the radio, or you had to be a musician.
You had to be exceptionally good at something.
Yeah.
Now you don't.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
At least not at what would generally be widely accepted as good at something. Although, again, Taylor Swift exists. It's just maybe, I think now that phenomenon is much more likely to be a pop artist that's a solo artist than a band.
I mean, look at Joe Rogan. I have all the respect in the world for Joe. He's created an industry. He's very good at a podcast, but there's nothing about Joe to me that says you're amazing.
Right.
But maybe if I could go back and be 40 years old in the 40s, 50s, and 60s and honest with myself, maybe I would look at the stars back then and go, there's nothing amazing about them either.
Chris Raunchy, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show.
I would just like to say you guys are awesome. I've just been turned on to this since it's been on 104.1 at the FM dial, and I think you guys make me laugh, and you're informative. I just love you guys' show. You guys are amazing.
The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Rolling hot dogs to perfect on a fluffy bun. All beef hot dogs rolling in. Hurry, cause they're on the run. Pick your toppings anyway. Rolling to this D. Pick your two, big Q2. Rolling makes a meal. Mustard relish, sauerkraut. Ain't no need to scream and shout. Get 2 all beef hot dogs and a big Q for $5. Only at QT. More than a gas station.
Dive into adventure this summer at the St. Louis Aquarium's Summer of the Shark. Get face to fin with some of the ocean's most awe-inspiring creatures in shark-themed exhibits, jaw-dropping displays, and interactive experiences for the whole family. Whether you're a fin-tastic fan or just curious, there's hands-on fun and fascinating facts around every corner at the St. Louis Aquarium. Don't miss your chance to make a splash. Plan your visit today at stlouisunionstation.com. That's stlouisunionstation.com.
Hey St. Louis, this is Ben Barnett, board certified master arborist with Timberline Professional Tree Care. In my nearly 30 years in the industry, I've seen firsthand what damage falling trees can do to your property. The sad thing is that most trees that fail have defects that can be identified by a well-trained certified arborist. At Timberline, we have 7 ISA certified arborists, 3 of which have gone through extensive training and testing to become tree risk assessment qualified. Our track certified arborists can perform a thorough assessment of your tree and provide mitigation options for your peace of mind. If there's nothing wrong with your tree, we will let you know that it poses a low risk of failure. If it needs to be removed, we'll tell you in a detailed written report. It's all about honesty and integrity here at Timberline Professional Tree Care. So call us today to get a tree risk assessment scheduled, 636-479-7475, or contact us through our website at stltreecare.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Traffic from the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
Well, we have some heavy rains on St. Charles County, so traffic is slow. Westbound 70. Oh, first of all, you've got a backup westbound 70, Kings Highway out to Jennings Station. We had an incident there. Then it's slowed down from Earth City, and it's really just off the pace all the way out to about Wingate, or out to about Bryan Road, rather. Then it's in better shape after that. 364, same deal. Across the Veterans Bridge through Heritage Crossing between Goodermuth and K. It's kind of slow. Westbound 64. Kings Highway out through Big Bend, and the city's busy. But again, from Chesterfield Parkway West all the way to K, and then west of K approaching Winghaven out to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. It's just kind of busy. Northbound 61 from Highway P up to W, 70 westbound, Forestell to Wright City, eastbound David Hokel to Wentzville Parkway, all of it slow. You're jammed on South 270 Page down to 64 way at a crash south of 64. They cleared it, so it's just going to take a little bit for it to unwind. Southbound 55 Gasconade Bates, just a little busy. Not bad headed into Illinois across the downtown bridges. I'm Roger Brand in the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
Hi, this is Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial. Let's tune out the noise a little bit and focus on a retirement plan. If you don't have one or don't know how to get started, find us on our website at saxfinancial.com or retiresafestl.com.
Selling your car online sounds easy. Snap a few pics, list a price, then what? Wait weeks, haggle with strangers? At Suntrop Ford, we actually make it easy to sell your car. Visit Suntrop Ford Kirkwood or Westport, and our expert appraisers will give you a fast, fair offer on the spot. Or skip the trip and get an instant quote at suntropford.com. No guesswork, no games, just the best price. Visit suntropford.com today. Get more at Suntrop Ford.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins.
Join the millions of people who are celebrating going hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you just step into and they're on.
It's crazy how something as simple as a pair of shoes have made my life better.
After trying Skechers Slip-ins, I want all my shoes to have this technology.
See what everybody can't stop talking about. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Today, the Cards, the Nationals.
Ameren Total Access 550.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Welcome back, guys. DGS on KMOX 334. Skies are darkening downtown in KMOX. Looking out the KMOX window. We have a live look from Dave Murray.
We do right here.
Hi, guys. Could not be with you live today, but the atmosphere is a little bit on the juicy side. Partly sunny skies. There will be a couple of scattered thunderstorms around, fading by about 8 o'clock tonight. One or two could go strong to severe. I think the main features with these things, scattered, first of all, the key word, not for everybody, but they're very efficient rainmakers. So there'll be some heavy downpours of rain and some lightning. Those storms should fade away very quickly with the setting sun. And that's why I'll take it up until about 8 o'clock tonight. Wednesday, partly sunny, couple of thunderstorms here and there. Not as much as we will see as we get into the evening hours here. 90 degrees for the high on Wednesday. Wednesday night, partly cloudy, 72. Thursday, mostly sunny skies, maybe a spot thunderstorm, and 92. Full moon, the full buck moon coming up on Thursday night. It's just kind of a typical run-of-the-mill summertime weather pattern over the next several days. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening.
Okay, very good. We'll keep an eye on the skies for you, and you do the same for us. Amy was just saying that it's really pouring buckets in St. Peter's. Today is National Video Game Day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, that was a big change.
Wonder
in the
how I'm
world.
going to celebrate tonight.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
I wonder. Play some games. The
by
question
the
is,
way-
do I want to go on a Rambo rampage against some aliens, or do I want to play baseball?
What aliens?
I don't know.
Oh,
What
okay.
It's fine. So it might actually be some dragons or something.
Jake says it's like a hurricane going through St. Charles right now.
Yikes.
Absolutely pouring and heavy winds.
Can you simulate Dave's baseball team in your?
I'm going to
MLB
do
The
that.
Show?
I'm going to make a team of the Bud
The
Light
Bud
Stars.
Mm-hmm.
Create Dave. Create all of you guys.
Love it.
Play out a season.
Love it. 1,500 bikers in England showed up to escort a 16-year-old kid to prom. His name is Josh. He's on the spectrum, and he's been dealing with bullies. His dad has a motorcycle and was hoping that 50 bikers would show up. 1,500 bikers showed up.
That's nice.
That's sweet.
Those are the right guys to
Yeah.
back you too, man.
That's right.
I love it. It does seem like in recent years, the prom has kind of switched from being like, this is going to be the most romantic night and you have to go with a date. Like, but it seems like tons of kids go by themselves, go with their friends.
Yeah.
I love that. I think
That's
that's
an
very
improvement.
cool.
If you need to relax, check out a site called Purrly. It does one thing. It plays the sound of cats purring.
Oh,
Already got that at home. I
It's
don't need
healing.
that website.
It's healing. It heals you.
It's,
Mends your broken bones and whatnot.
I don't know. I mean, I've had some problems in my life, but if I have a problem big enough that I'm calling a Purrly and listening to cats purr and meow.
Yeah, you can get that for free on YouTube.
Companies are now trying to kill off the idea of work-life balance. The postings say things like looking for someone who can keep up with an unrelenting pace or someone who's eager. So another change in the corporate world.
Looking for someone who has no life
Pretty much.
and will let this overtake everything. Like,
Pretty
okay,
much.
Probably not me, but good luck to you all.
The record for the most points by a father-son duo in the NBA is 42,246.
mm-hmm.
LeBron scored 42,184.
Yeah.
And Bronny has scored 62.
That's the story, is that LeBron has outscored all the father-son duos ever by
Yeah.
himself.
Yes.
Not that there have been that many, but
Right. Hawaii's state fish is called the Humu, Muku, Nuku, Apu, Ah.
Nice.
Also known as the triggerfish.
all right, let's just call it that.
That'd be easier. We're all familiar with the Magic 8 Ball. God, I love the Magic 8 Ball.
Me too.
It failed when it first came out in the 1940s because it wasn't an 8 ball. It was just a regular ball called the Secoseer. But a billiards company in Cincinnati commissioned a line of them that looked like 8 balls, and it took off.
Hmm.
Isn't it interesting how things happen
He
like
said,
that?
try again later.
Yeah.
I believed that thing.
Oh, it's
same.
witchcraft.
I
It
mean-
was a prophecy. Yeah. It could see the future, and it was trying to help you.
I feel like whenever I first started playing with them, though, as a small child, I'd be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And then I would shake it, and then just the corner would come back every time. I don't know if I was messing with a broken 8 ball or something, but that was stressful.
You guys familiar with the term bathroom camping?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, want to explain it?
I believe I just saw this on TikTok last night. I believe it's when you spend like 2 hours in the bathroom just hanging out.
When you don't need to.
Yeah, having a good time.
Why
Typically
would you
to
do
get
that?
away from your spouse.
Okay.
Or at a social gathering that you don't want to be at. And so you go into a stall and you just camp out.
Yeah. Or you
For
just
how
feel very
long?
comfortable there.
Couple hours.
Couple hours.
Nobody notices?
Evidently not.
Like people are not knocking on the door going, hello, anyone in there?
I think if you are trying to get away from your spouse by going to the bathroom for 3 hours, your spouse is probably fine with that.
Yeah.
Also,
they're
do
probably
you
not
not-
looking,
They're probably not
looking
like
for you.
they're probably not like.
do you
"Where's
not just
Jeffy?"
have another room?
Okay, Mr. Millionaire.
Andrew, you
It's
can
for real.
You can
Yeah.
explain this.
I mean,
All
there's
right,
not a
all
living
right,
room.
Monopoly
and,
Man,
What?
Willie
Oh,
Millions.
Oh, so you don't have a living room and a bedroom?
Some people don't.
All right.
Some people live in a
Some
studio.
people live in a
You
studio.
go outside.
I would rather go to the bathroom than go outside where it's 90 degrees and raining.
I'd rather live by the crapper.
Why don't you go outside where it's 95 in a thunderstorm currently?
You poor person.
you,
Can't afford a living room.
you brokey.
What, do you not have a man cave?
I mean,
Why don't you just retreat to your beautiful finished basement where you have a home office, a home studio, and a extra large man
I
cave?
don't know. If you got to escape your spouse for that long in the crapper, maybe you need a new spouse.
Or a new crapper.
Stop saying crap.
Too poor to get divorced, man. Don't even have a bedroom. You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
That's probably a
Gotta
good,
just hang out in the bathroom.
probably a good point.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Hormel have partnered up for a new bacon-flavored cereal.
Gross.
I have tried to get my wife. So they already have Cinnamon Toast Crunch flavored bacon at I've only ever seen it at Walmart, I guess. I have tried to talk my wife into that so badly, and she's not having it. She will not try it.
So
I want to
it's-
try it so bad.
sounds
Why do you have
It's
to-
not cereal, it's bacon.
Speaking of spouses, why do you have to talk her into it?
Because I mean, it's
You're a grown-ass man.
she's going to be eating it too. I mean, it's
Oh, you can have just cereal for you.
no. It's not the cereal. It's actual like strips of bacon
It's bacon with cinnamon on it.
Now
flavored
that-
with Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
That sounds good because that sounds like
That sounds
candied.
much better.
That sounds like candied bacon, which
Yeah.
is good.
Now
Mm,
Rachel's
sounds-
right. It's probably just some cinnamon dusting on
That's
it.
fine. That sounds good.
Don't
There's
sound good to
a
me.
list of women who proposed to their men, including Pink, Britney Spears, and Judge Judy. I think that sounds
Judy.
delightful.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being proposed to by Judge Judy? Like, best day of my life.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, I don't think you have much of a choice when Judy's asking a question.
She's gonna be
Mhm.
like, don't talk.
answer is always yes.
Although contemplating that for the first time puts me in the space that women have been in for generations of being asked by someone who you don't want to say yes to. That is an S ton of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
I think it's a huge risk for the lady to do the asking.
That being said, I cannot imagine a reality in which I don't want to be married to Judge Judy. So that makes it a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
What if she
Mhm.
proposed now?
That's
Yeah.
exactly what we're talking
Be
about.
like, no, not back in the day when she did that.
Oh, okay.
When did
Now,
she get
yeah.
married?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
she's rich.
She's been married for 2 years.
till death
Oh.
do we part.
Andrew's like, I'll be your Anna Nicole Smith.
Yeah. Now till the end.
You'd show her the best 8 months of her life.
I'm in it to win it.
If the girl is the one asking, are they getting down on one knee?
Oh,
Don't
I don't
know.
know. It's a
Don't
good
know.
question.
Do people
Looking
still
up-
do that?
I'm looking up
I
Judge
think
Judy
so.
proposal.
I know I see like tons of proposal videos all the time on like
Mm.
TikTok and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
those guys are getting down on one knee
Can
generally.
you just propose to someone these days without a camera?
You can.
Would it be
Yeah,
a
you can.
disappointment?
I think a lot of people go that way. But then I also understand the motivation to have that on camera so you can like relive the moment. I don't judge that. When you know, I was at the park a couple years ago and I witnessed a proposal. And it was very sweet because then like their family and friends like surprise them. Wonderful moment. I get wanting to have a copy of
I had
that.
a terrible moment. Scott and I, my buddy Scott Rutledge, were in Colorado when we saw Bigfoot, and we were taking a walk around a lake, the two of us, and it's a gorgeous, I have a tattoo of the lake right here in my arm. We walked up upon a proposal, and it was the most attractive couple I've ever seen. The guy was hotter than any woman I've ever dated. And it was the two of them and a photographer, and we just stood there watching. And I feel terrible. To this day, I feel terrible because at some point, all three of them stopped and looked at us, and we're like, "Oh, you just go ahead." We'll just keep on walking.
Megan and I were in Tower Grove Park a couple of weeks ago, and we saw a lady and a little tiny, like, couldn't have been more than, a year-old or less baby, and they were having like a mommy-baby photo shoot, primarily baby photo shoot. And Megan and I like stood and watched for like way too long. And Megan was even like getting involved when they were like, couldn't get the baby's attention. Megan was like trying to help, and they were.
Oh my gosh, that's a little too far.
I know they kind of same situation. They were giving her looks like,
your baby.
Yeah, they were giving her looks like, we got it. She's like, oh yeah, of course it is.
What did we call chilling? Because before we had chilling,
Jill Maxon,
like
relaxing. Yeah, hanging.
It's like 40 years ago.
Yeah, you're
hanging, relaxing.
Because now, whenever someone on a Monday, hey, what'd you do? How was your weekend? Just chilled.
Yeah.
I am at rest, Jedediah. That's what we say.
I have left thine boots under thine bed.
I spent solitary time in my domicile.
Rotting in bed, am I? Why are they Yoda all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. People weren't bed rotting. They're out there milking the cow and whatnot.
That's true. They didn't have free
They had
time.
chores.
They didn't just hang out. They're like, hang out. What the
They
hell's
stopped
that?
work by 10 p.m. It's
right.
like,
I collapsed.
loser.
At the end of the day, I ate and collapsed. That's what I did.
Dave Murray's forecast was brought to you by Sachs Financial.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
This traffic report is a service of Terrace Senior Living of Eureka. Rain's not quite as intense, but it's still rain slowed traffic-wise. Well, westbound 70, first of all, Shreve, out past Jennings Station, bumper to bumper. You're bumper to bumper again, west of 270 to 5th Street. It's slow out to 370. It's slow from 79 through Highway K. Eastbound 70, east of Forestel into Wentzville Parkway is slow. Highway C, west of 79, they have water over the road where they're having to shut Highway C down. A couple of cars were momentarily stuck. Sounds like they got them out of there, but some flooding up there in Lincoln County. Southbound 270 backs up south of Dorset down to Olive, but it's slow all the way down to pretty much 44. South 170, Olive down to 64 is heavy. Westbound 64 is slow. Kings Highway to Big Bend, Lindbergh to 270. Both directions between Research Park and Clarkson are busy because of the rain showers. Westbound again continues from there, midway out to Winghaven and 364 on out to Highway 70 after that. Southbound 55, dry run, but it's still busy south of Arsenal down to Bates. After that, it looks great through Jeffco. I'm Roger Brand at the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Check out the Terrace in Eureka for affordable senior living with 24-hour nursing supervision, delicious meals, medication management, and activities. The Terrace is affordable and will work with your Medicaid plan. Go to rspseniorliving.com and look for the Terrace Private Assisted Living.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Check the back seat. Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good, because every year dozens of children are forgotten in the back seat. Cars get hot fast and can be deadly, so get it in your head. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler. I want to tell you about 213 Complex, which you can find at Supplement Superstores. And I can tell you, you'll always find the top of the line at Supplement Superstores, along with amazing employees that will definitely help you with whatever journey you're trying to go on when it comes to losing weight, getting stronger, whatever. They are absolutely the best. They're all certified nutrition specialists. They're all personal trainers. They all have the deal. And Supplement Superstores has 213 Complex, which is the best natural weight loss product out there. The first thing you're going to notice if you do what I've done, which is obviously get on 213 Complex, you'll notice metabolism's kind of burning all the time, right? You start to like, I'm not even really trying to lose a ton of weight. Although I'm trying to add that to my workout routine, is to like cut some of the weight as opposed to just adding bulk, which I'm pretty good at. And 213 Complex is helping me out with that. I also love the appetite control, man. Like, that's important to eat on a plan. Like, all right, I'm going to have a sandwich now. I'm planning that, but I'm not going to give into the craving and have chips later on or whatever other thing. I find that to be incredibly useful. That's a big part of the 213 Complex. You get all day focused energy. It comes with no jitters at the end of the day. None of that nonsense that you'll get from the big energy drinks. And again, you're getting all of this stuff on a 24-hour basis. And when you get the cortisol levels down, which is important, you can also get a better night's sleep through a product of this, which is also important for any exercise goals. Go to Supplement Superstores. Walk into the store. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They will knock 30% off the 213 Complex so you can get yourself started. Find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
2 legendary bands, 1 epic night. Collective Soul and Live are bringing the rock to St. Louis. Catch their summer unity tour at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater July 17th with special guest Braylon James Rue. Don't miss your chance to hear such hits as Shine, December, I Alone, and All Over You. Collective Soul and Live. Tickets can be found at Ticketmaster.com. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might.